2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Yo, Panther fans, what's the deal? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. Couple of minutes late to the party. Of course. Guess what happens? Just technical. You can't even call it difficulties at this point. It's just technical. And I don't understand it. And it's just the way of the world with live streaming. And that's what happens when you self-produce the best show on YouTube when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. It's C3 Panthers Podcast. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. My name's Tony Dunn, a.k.a. The Professor, at @cat_chronicles, where every Tuesday night I hang out with my homeboys, talking the latest Panthers news and opinions. And my homiest of homies, Cody Lashney, in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Tony Dunn, what's up, brother? Nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night talking some Panther football. And, man, do we have a lot to talk about for the entire part of the crowd that doesn't want us to talk about Cam Newton. Let us just issue the warning now. This is not the podcast for you. But, of course, we're going to talk about CMC's injury, what it means for us going forward, what our offensive identity is. We have a guest on the show tonight. And, as always, we're joined by the most lit Panther fans in all of YouTube. Chef Jeff, my cousin, what's up, brother? Sarah Taylor, Rio, Joey the Blind Panther, Esquivel, Nick Montiero, Underground West on vacation in Vegas. Enjoy your vacation, brother. See you next time. Tin Tizzy, Richard's Outdoor World, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's talk some Panthers football. Let's roll.
I'm telling you, we're the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet, and that includes the fucking team itself. The team itself, we have outdone them. Why? Because we're fanatics. And we might not be football experts, but we're expert football fans, so we ask you to do this. Smash the thumbs up and be a part of the show. Just like my man, Greg, the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy, the man of many podcasts is here tonight. Thanks for coming again, my friend.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. You know, it's the best place to be on Tuesday nights. And Cody named a lot of things we were going to talk about tonight, and there's actually a whole lot more because I didn't have any of those on my list, and he didn't knock off any of the ones I did. We still got to talk about former Panthers shining. We're going to talk about Bridgewater, I'm sure, and the cat calls, and the possibility of a blatant tanking. Like, the Panthers starting to show signs of that. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about tonight, Panthers football. I'm ready to go.
Is there evidence, right? That's the question.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there, like, visual evidence, conclusive evidence that the Panthers actually don't want to do well? We have we'll leave it up to you guys. Actually, we won't. We'll tell you what we think, and then you guys can tell us what you can think. And you know how you can tell us what you think? You can call into the Cat Calls line. The number's 252-228-5098. That's right, 252-228-5098. You can be part of the C3 Panthers podcast, have your voice heard. Lots of stuff. I mean, I hate to just say what we're going to be talking about without talking about it, but I was even talking about this, is how other media outlets are good at doing media outlet shit, not because they're big market, just because they do what they're supposed to. We've got that. We've got all types of stuff. I'm telling you this, is that if you were sad and you miss Cam, you will miss him more after tonight. But you will be happy for him, like a bird, like a mama bird in a nest, watching the baby fly away. You know, wishing you're dropping your kids off at college. You're sad, but you're seeing the joy and the happiness of them fulfilling their true potential. I hate to tell you this. When you hear Cam on New England radio on this show tonight, you will be sad if you miss him. And to all the detractors, all the haters, all the people that also said that the Panthers have a plan, you might have some questions about that going forward. I'm telling you, the Cam interview on New England radio this morning put me in a different place. But like Cody said, we've got a big guest tonight, Daniel Popper from The Athletic. He's the beat writer for the LA Chargers. He's going to help us preview that game. So we got to go ahead and get into it. But before we do that, don't forget, if you want to have a little fun this season, place a little wager. I was 2-2 this week. The stupid-ass Saints defense, which is bums. The Saints defense, a bunch of bums. Let the over happen. I could have been 3-1. The Panthers covered the over. The Packers smashed the 6 points that they had to cover. The damn Kansas City Chiefs did not cover the 9. I was upset about that. I think they're better than that, and we're going to be playing the Chargers. Are they going to be a spoiler for us? The Saints, all of this, you can be a part. You can have fun putting a little wager on the game by going to mybookie.ag. And when you go there, they will match your first-time deposit bonus by $1,000, up to $1,000, if you use the promo code OVERTIME. That's MyBookie, promo code OVERTIME. And even our podcast network, Overtime Media, is willing to give one player who deposits money $500 in cash. All you got to do is take a screenshot of your deposit, your first-time deposit in your account, and email it to overtime@advertisecast.com. They're going to select one winner by the end of the month. I'm getting my wife to deposit under – I'm not going to put it under my name. I'm trying to win the $500. I ain't going to lie. mybookie.ag, right? And you can hang out with the professor on Wednesday night as a history teacher tries to beat Vegas, right? 2-2 this week, so I'm even. Go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code OVERTIME. Let's jump into the podcast, guys. The Panthers fall 0-2. I don't think we should be upset because we're 0-2. We probably expected this. We thought we potentially could be 1-1. No one thought we would be 2-0. And few people really truly believed that we were able that we're going to be able to go on the road against the super team and win. But one of the sad things is in the post-game show, guys, is there was a lot of disappointment in among Panther fans, and I've tried to temper some of that. But I think the disappointment is honest and authentic because the opportunity was actually there. The Panthers drive, they turn they're looking to move the ball. They turnover. You look at the Panthers defense, I know a lot of people have shat on it. But in reality, if you look at what's happened to the Saints with Oakland, if you look at really what the Panthers have done with the Bucs, the defense has not been putrid. The team has been competent in so many ways, and then they miss. It's missed opportunities, as Ron Rivera would describe it. But still, this week was overly decided by a Teddy Bridgewater turnover fest. 3 turnovers for Teddy, 4 for the team. And guys, we're a couple of days removed. I tend to think this is that things are not as bad as people say they are, but they're not good in a way that we should expect much better. And what I mean by that is that the team seems obviously – I don't feel like we're undercoached. I don't feel like we're out of place. I feel like what we are is we're under-talented. And really, this is not our moment, and this should be expected at this point.
I feel like our defense has a lot of rookie players, and I said that after during the postgame show last Sunday. Man, we have a lot of young players that are learning how to play NFL football on the fly. And this is what's going to happen. I do think that we just need to be honest about the product that we're seeing on the field. I don't think that there's anything to be happy about. Richard's Outdoors World earlier put, last Monday night made our loss to the Raiders look a little bit better in retrospective, seeing as how, what they were able to do to the Saints. Granted, it is the Saints without Michael Thomas and with a noodle on Drew Brees.
Yeah. Their defense got shredded.
They did. But my biggest thing is we're not able to put away the football game in the third and fourth quarter. And whenever they needed to sustain a drive and run the football on us and eat the clock, they're able to do that. And that was the biggest problem from last season, that we wanted to do better at this season. But knowing that we have a bunch of young players, we have a bunch of new coaches, I mean, you're honestly seeing about what you probably would have expected at this point. They're not a great defense right now. They have a ton of potential. They were very hurt not having Arturo Gross-Matos, not having K1 Short, which, I mean, you and I said we might never see another vintage K1 Short performance for the Panthers ever again at this point. Who knows?
I think we talked about this on the post game, and I think, and I agree with you. It's like it does. There's something that feels kind of like a bookend to it, an end cap to it. But I did hear Matt Rhule in his press conference say, "Hopefully, we get KK back," and he said it in a way that was like, "We really could use KK." So that made me actually feel for a second to hesitate on that and say, maybe you're right. Right, but at least these guys are looking at KK as still a player.
We've heard that before, though, haven't we? Didn't they look at Cam as still a player? And
but what I mean is that just hearing that one comment gave a little bit of hope to me that there's that KK, that it is injury and not that he's toast and roast. Now, a couple of things I do want to point out in the chat room. I don't understand why Lee Trotter thinks we could be 7 or 9 or 8 and 8 at this point. I think I'm beating Greg in this bet. And most importantly, Nervosh says, biggest stat so far. And Nervosh is a big, long-time listener to this podcast. I like to see him in the chat room. That makes me feel good. Biggest stat so far, 0 sacks. And honestly, to follow that stat up, it might be like 1 QB hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's only one. I think it's 1 QB hit and 0 sacks. The pressure has not been there to continue. Not only is it young defense, but they're not getting home.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty putrid. And, Richard's Outdoor was talking about earlier with the Monday night game, maybe making the Oakland game look a little better. I mean, in theory, yeah, because think about it. Maybe New Orleans and Tampa Bay aren't as good as everybody thought they were, because we were down big in Tampa Bay and we were in a position to win that game, and New Orleans got beat.
Back in maybe at least tied up.
Huh?
At least tied up, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what to think, but I still don't think that we're good by any means, and I don't think that we're. It seems to me we're obviously tanking. So I don't know what to take of it, man. And I feel like everything I say, because every time I want to tweet something while the game's going on or want to say something while the game's going on, I'm like, I'll be like, okay, Bridgewater's looking pretty good this drive. He's looking pretty good this drive. I'm just about to hit send and something happens. Or not just Bridgewater, just the defense. The defense be stopping somebody, 1, 2, 3, and then all of a sudden, they let that big one go. Just like, come on, man. So I don't know how to read this team. I really don't.
Lee Trotter says this. Lee Trotter says 7-9 before the season started. At now, not so much. And he also clarifies that if we had Cam, we'd be 2-0, which is actually, we're not going to get into that just yet. Do want to follow up on, actually, let's not go into Greg's tanking comment yet. The big news.
Christian. Yeah. By the way, Greg's camera is not showing up on the YouTube video when he talks.
Oh,
I don't know if you have to switch that.
All right, hold on. No, that's probably on me. No, that's my fault.
Everybody
you guys go ahead and talk. Tell me what happened. No, it's on me. It's not.
So if you haven't heard the news already, the Panthers were dealt a very serious blow after the end of that loss against Tampa Bay. Christian McCaffrey will be out 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. And granted, you have to think Christian McCaffrey was paid to be the centerpiece of this defense as he was last year. And now we don't have that guy. And we really don't even have a true running back number 2. I know a lot of Panther fans were looking for us to reach for maybe Devontae Freeman, who I think has since signed with New York after Saquon went down. But it's unfortunate, man. And
he has
listen,
signed with New York officially?
Huh?
Wow. He did sign. Devontae Freeman did sign with New York?
That's what I've heard.
I know he was visiting. I just hadn't heard. I just hadn't been following the news.
I saw that he was expected to sign with New York.
Okay.
What about your boy Davis that played last weekend? I mean, last time we had a Davis in the backfield, it turned out pretty good. You know? Just saying.
All right. I like the old Stephen Davis reference, but yeah, I mean, is that you saw him though? Is that here? We're rooting for everybody to be good. He is a power. He's a power back, and when I mean a power back, he looks kind of like Tolbert looked like. He's a big boy. He's a big little round man. So the idea is right now we have Mike Davis and Reggie Bonifant. I don't know if necessarily does it really matter. Really, truly, if that is all of this is
Christian McCaffrey.
You guys are at the point that you were telling me this is we might as well just roll with Kyle Allen. Why not just roll with Reggie Bonifant and Mike Davis? My question to you guys is that, and to Cody specifically first, is Christian McCaffrey's injury, if as long as it's not major and significant and serious, is it sort of a downward blessing in disguise?
It really is, man. I mean, listen, you don't have to listen to me. Listen to every other media outlet, all the other big-time sports networks. There is a tank for Trevor season that a bunch of teams are low-key a part of. The Jets, the Giants.
The
Vikings.
There
are a lot of bad. Hey, how about this one? The fucking Falcons, bro. They're 0-2 also. Dude, that is nightmare fuel. Thinking about the Falcons having the first pick in the draft.
Didn't they start 0-6 last year, though? And then they
they turned it around.
Was it last year? Yeah, I remember that. I remember a year recently they've done it.
It would also be the most Atlanta thing ever to do just enough at the very end to play themselves out of a better pick.
Maybe we should be the woke team that boycotts football and forfeits every game for social justice.
Maybe so. I want to highlight a comment. Joey the Blind Panther says, you might as well save CMC for next season. It's not like we're going to do anything this year, although knowing CMC, I don't think he will allow that to happen. And I want to pose that to all of you, man. Listen, the schedule does not get easier going forward at all. We have a very tough opponent that went to the wire with the defending Super Bowl champs. They're coming to town.
That was called up basically on short notice. That they basically said on Friday, "Hey, Tyrod Taylor's got chest pains, homie. You're starting." In many ways, I wonder if that's why KC got shook so much, is they weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Justin Herbert was pretty good, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was real good.
I wonder if there was anyone on this podcast that maybe was saying that for
I don't know, still
3 or 4 months in a row.
That dude's got pimples on his face.
So holy what? Did you see that throw that he made to the back of the end zone?
Oh gosh, it was beautiful.
Bro, homeboy is for real, y'all.
311 for 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
I take this. This is like my 3rd or 4th year now doing legitimate scouting and doing scouting reports. I feel like I'm following a lot of these NFL players and following their career, and it's made my NFL season more fun, man. Especially when your team is as bad as it is, and one of the teams that might be in the tank for Trevor Lawrence hunt. It's nice to be able to look around the NFL and see a bunch of players that I've been learning about and becoming more knowledgeable on for the past few months and seeing them do well wherever they are. And now we have that very person, although now Anthony Lynn is saying they might play Tyrod over him. It's so dumb.
That is a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah,
that's a
I know, but
bold-faced lie.
I know, man, but that's what he's saying. I don't know. It's tough.
All right, so Christian McCaffrey goes down. He's out 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
Yep.
6. Kind of. I mean, is that, look,
The
is
0
that
and 8
less,
then, right?
it's less miles on his tires. And I don't know. Is that this? Guys, I just want the team to get better each and every week, and I don't think wins is necessarily the determinant factor. I'm actually very happy with the product so far under this coaching staff. I've been very happy with Joe Brady's play calling. I think that we've drawn a little bit too much criticism for Phil Snow's 3-5 defense. It's not been horrific as people have made out. I just don't think we got the horses to make it work, and that's okay, and that was expected. And I think that we're just kind of in our feelings of, these games are within our grasp at times, and we want them, as fans, as fanatics, we want wins. And I do think the blowback on the Matt Rhule staff has been far too much lately, and I even think so much some to a degree that has been on Teddy Bridgewater now, like too much. But I don't think that is an excuse to say that his play is okay, right? Is that like turning the balls okay? And I will say this, Cody. I tweeted this out because we got to talk about this, and we're probably going to spend the next 10 minutes and then come back to it again after our guest, talking about Cam Newton. I saw one of the best performances of Cam Newton's career on Sunday night. New England goes into Seattle, and Cam Newton is just fucking dealing darts, bro. We saw the deep ball. We threw all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Beautiful passes.
One of the things
it's almost as if Cam Newton just needed some time to get healthy, man. It's almost.
Or that he almost just needed protection.
That's what it was.
Dude, he just needed protection. Look at the time he has to make these decisions. I got the video up. But he's dealing darts, and I did tweet this out, Cody, and you might not have even seen it. I said, oh, that's what Cody's talking about with Teddy Bridgewater's arm strength. Oh, as he just throws, here it is. He just threw a 55-yarder on a rope. All right, we also got to welcome our homeboy CK's in the house. Codizzle Allen been streaming, gaming with the thug life of damn stream life, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it means. Did you have fun?
Oh man, I had a blast, man. It was a fun little go. Now they know my name. That's the main thing, man. Like these bigger streamers that are making a living doing streaming know who Codizzle is, and we had a good time. We had a blast. I could see us doing it again. Honestly, all these guys seem to be pretty awesome. But and then one of them actually made me his mod the other day, which was really weird. So we played some Call of Duty after the mainstream, but man, we ended up and was able to get in here and have some fun with you boys before the end of the night.
Good
Actually,
shit.
I don't think we're going to have time to get into – we are going to get fully in – Cam Newton had a 21-minute interview on Boston radio this morning. And from what I gather, they're going to talk to him next Monday and the next Monday. We are going to have that interview for you, and we're going to break it down because I don't even know what the best parts, the worst parts. The worst part is you're going to be crying. So Cody gets on. We're talking before the podcast, and I say, "Did you hear the Cam interview?" He's like, "I haven't heard it." You know what I'm saying? I got it. I was like, I got it. I was like, "It's the worst 20 minutes of my life." He said, "What?" And what do you think I was going to say? I was baiting you.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I knew that it was it had to do with something about your sadness of not seeing that monster of a human being play for your favorite football team anymore. And I know it
But
because I've
you
been
thought
feeling
it
too.
was going to be that I was going to say it was like a horrendous interview. Like I said, because I was trying to set it up like it was the worst 20 minutes. It was awful. And it was, I'm telling you, we're going to have this. We'll have this at probably about 10 o'clock tonight, about a half hour, because we've got Daniel Popper from The Athletic coming on in about 12 minutes to help us preview this Chargers game. But after that, we'll get into this Cam interview. I'm telling you, this is the best 20 minutes of my life with Cam. He was so relaxed. He was so comfortable. He was so confident. Finally, it was like there was a giant burden off of his shoulder, pun intended. That just was it's a Cam that we wanted to hear. It's the Cam not the Cam we didn't have. It's the Cam we wanted to allow to happen and to be. And it's there. It's wonderful. They're already calling in New England on like straight up contract extension today. Straight up. Mm-hmm. All of that. But the Panthers not in a position. We don't have Cam anymore, and there's a large contingent of Panther fans that say, turn the page. That's old news. We got to look to the future. And looking to the future, according to Cody Lashney, is a blonde-haired boy that starred in Dazed and Confused. His name is Trevor Lawrence. And to get him...
Blonde-haired man, thank you very much. If you see him play, that ain't no boy.
He's a man-child.
No boy.
He's a boy-child. Boy-man. Man-boy. But on top of that, is to get him, we would have to be terrible. Right? We have to be the worst. He's going to be... He's right now, he's the consensus number one unless when Justin Fields takes the field... And he would have, I mean, there's an opportunity he could somehow just be like the shit and supersede him. But right now he looks like the consensus number one going forward. And so much that he's like, people are comparing, you've said he's better than Andrew Luck and all these different things. But to get him, we would have to have the number one pick. To do that, we would have to tank. Someone said in the chat room, it sounds like Tony is embracing the tank. Greg, I brought it up on the post-game show. What raises your eyebrows from this game that is kind of weird about tankish?
The play you showed me, and I actually saw this in the game and was thinking the same thing. I just forgot to bring it up in the podcast, and I just don't remember you bringing it up in the podcast because I probably spaced out or I may have stepped away for a second. But the Deshaun Jackson interception, he runs out of bounds with like nobody around him within 10 yards.
Dude, I was so
you mean
Dante Jackson, yeah. He could have easily gotten, he maybe have scored, but he could have easily gotten to the 5-yard line where he was at. Like, and he 100%. Just seemed to duck out of bounds. And it's just
50
like
for no reason at all. And then threw the ball up in celebration. Like, woo! Like he got in the end zone.
Yeah. Well, like I don't understand that. And it just makes you wonder. It's like those Super Bowl plays you look at where it's like, that doesn't seem right. You know me, I have conspiracy theories about things like this. And maybe they're being told, go out there and play, but don't really play type deal. And I don't know. That's just speculation. But that play just seemed really, really sketchy.
Yeah. That was weird. That was very weird. I mean, I know it ended up in a touchdown, so it's not that big of a deal from that perspective. But if that had not been a touchdown, or if that had been any other like outcome other than a touchdown, I think that would have been one of the most criticized. That would have been like almost as bad as Cam not diving on the ball in the Super Bowl.
It should be like the number one story this week in a way.
At least I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it except the tweet you sent out.
Is that like what else? It's like, all right. So Teddy turned the ball over. Who gives a fuck? Like, okay.
Do you have the video? You should play the video. Oh, it's not a video. It's a picture, I think.
I'll find it.
No, it's in the chat you sent us earlier. You sent it to us a day or two, or earlier today, maybe. I can't remember.
I mean, I don't know. It's so hard because it's like, I've been saying this for a while now. It's like when a team decides to tank, normally it's from an organizational standpoint, meaning that you have people in the front office that are looking to trade away players in order to get assets to be able to move up for certain players, whereas coaches and players on the field, they don't want to put bad film out there, so that way they're not. So that way, another team isn't going to be able to pick them up or look at their film and think that they're going to be able to help be a winning piece for another football team. That being said, I even thinking of Dante Jackson, I mean, there are guys on this team that they're close to getting paid soon. It's hard to even imagine it, but we're close to having to make a decision on Curtis Samuel and Dante Jackson.
Yeah,
and it kind of, I mean, I don't want to change the subject. I mean, we can talk about whatever, but I'm interested to hear from everyone. What would you want to see done with Christian McCaffrey? Do you want to see him play any more, if at all?
Not this year, no.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I mean, I have a few ideas about some players that I think we could trade and move off of now in order to start building up an arsenal for that draft. Because I'm telling you, being bad is one thing, but there are going to be a lot of bad football teams that have the same idea in mind. I mean, you might see a once-in-a-lifetime frantic race to the bottom between a bunch of NFL teams. That's the kind of player that Trevor Lawrence is.
All right, I'm putting the play up now. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to look at it in your own Twitter. Let me see. I'm gonna do it again. I think OBS is so stupid with this port. Hold on, I gotta go back to our. Wish they would why can't you just redo it? So silly. All right, here it comes.
Yeah, it's good.
This is it. All right, so the pass comes here. Dante gets it. And look, he scrambles around. He misses a linebacker. He misses a defensive end. Look, nobody. And what? Why? At least Tim Moore. He's 4'3". You trying to tell me he can't? He's 5'8", but he runs 4'3".
He's that small, dude.
Yeah, it's like what you're trying to tell me is that that's what would Kyler Murray do? Not that.
Oh, that would have been to the house.
I was very impressed with Dante Jackson's play in this game against some tougher competition. I think he's been in this game he did not play undisciplined, and this play makes me go, you know what? Fuck Dante. I'm done. I don't even give a fuck. I don't even want him on the team. I'm just done with any of it. And look, Travis Hines says he didn't want to get hit. It's pretty obvious. If he didn't want to get hit, that's like me entering a convent to not get laid. You know what I'm saying? I could just live my life and not get laid. I mean, it's real legitimate. He could have ran 8 more yards and still had no chance of getting hit. It was weird. It was bizarre. I didn't understand it, but I don't think it lends to the tank talk. Tank talk.
I think it lends more to how serious his injury history has been, honestly.
Yeah, and is Dante what the fuck is going on with Dante? And the coaching staff better be on his ass on that shit. They better be on his ass. Because imagine if we were a winning team. What if we were a winning team and you did that shit?
Yeah, and we were trying to mount a comeback. That's not exemplary football, man. So again, I can't ever tell you who is and isn't tanking. Even on that play, I don't think Dante is trying to get out of bounds to have worse yard position or anything like that.
He would have shot. Let's be honest. I mean, if it was that situation, I think it has a lot to do with he's scared to get hurt. I do think that's the case.
That's a great point too, and he had been injured even before this game. So, man, it's just let's go around the bend here. Tony, what say you, man? If Christian McCaffrey is able to come back in 4 weeks, are you wanting to try him out there, or is everyone kind of on the same page? Let Trevor heal up and rest.
CMC. You've already got him.
He's so thinking about Trevor.
No, that's
he can't
Trevor.
Even say Christian.
Whatever, man. I'm going to will that scenario into existence.
It's not going to
happen. All be happy that I did.
We're going to win a fucking game. All right, here's the thing: is that I think Greg said it earlier, or you said it, and that is I don't know if CMC is gonna be down with that, right?
No, yeah, that's the thing.
I don't know. I don't know what you could do. I think it would be probably a poor business decision for the Panthers overall to send that message to the fan base. And what I mean, and is that it's like God is like we're already fucking people are already calling for Matt Rhule's. Like it's crazy. Panther fans are weird, man. You are just 2 months ago. Everybody's like, "Well, Matt Rhule, give him time. He's got 8 years." And all of a sudden, he's like, "This guy can't coach." Right?
It's like the people who called us after week 1 with all the remarks about Bridgewater. You didn't hear nobody call in about that. None of them call in the next week.
I
It's
mean, yes,
1 week difference, you know.
I'm with you guys in that. Not like I don't necessarily look. Is Christian McCaffrey having him on the field or not is going to equal 1 win or 1 win, 2 wins, man. You know, like so. Yes, is like as I don't want him for that reason, but I also don't like the idea of a team being so defunct. Like I don't know if you can openly do that.
Yeah,
I'll pass the mic. We got 1 minute. We got Daniel Popper from the Athletics coming on, so let's go around the horn real quick. He'll be here shortly.
Okay. Go ahead, CK.
I mean, so what's the question with regard to again?
Yeah, I mean,
do you want him out there or not?
CMC.
I don't want him out there. Honestly, I really don't. But at the same time, I know exactly the type of player that he is. Mm-hmm. Like he's not gonna sit down. If he's ready, he is going to want to be out there. And if he's not out there, it's a frustration. The other part that I talk about with this, and I wanted to bring up, is in the history of a running back sitting out, it's never been good for their career. Like having an entire season off. There's not been really many running backs that have come back from an entire season off and actually excelled. Like look at Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, all of it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense, especially with the short type of career running backs have. I think he's got to be in there.
Greg, finish it up. Our guest is in the hole, so we're gonna bring him in right after your point.
Oh, I don't even have to. CK hit it right on the head. I don't have to say anything. I agree with 100%. Cool. That's the same thing I was going to say.
I want to remind this is you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You know it's the place where fans chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. We're here live every Tuesday night. The number's 252-228-5098. Now we've got Daniel Popper from The Athletic, Chargers beat writer. I'm a big fan of The Athletic. I'm a subscriber. Secretly, I hate to tell you this, Daniel, I am a college instructor. I have an EDU address, and I take advantage of the discount. Welcome, Daniel Popper, to the C3 Panthers podcast.
Thanks for having me. Any way we can get you in, reading the content, listening to the podcasts, we'll take it, man. We'll take it.
Hell yeah. All right. Yeah. Cause I do not turn down the student discount, even though I'm a teacher. I use that EDU. But look, cause you're a big fan of The Athletic. And what I mean by is and the reason I'm a big fan of The Athletic is ultimately this is that we're crazy fans. We read everything, we consume everything. And we like people who are on the beat, who are following it close, and are trying to give us not a deep dive. Like I don't need a 37-page article in many ways, but I also don't need the sensationalist only five sentence blog. And that's why we brought you on, because we want to know about the Chargers. And boy, we got a lot of questions for you, so we're gonna hit you up.
All right, let's go.
And
I'm ready,
homie. What the hell? I had the Chiefs -9. I said,
bad bet. You should have listened to me on Kansas City radio. I told everybody to take the points.
Did you know that Justin Herbert was going to be a quarterback?
No. So what happened was Tyrod Taylor got an injection for rib pain before the game and had some complications and adverse reaction to that injection. And so until the coin toss, Anthony Lynn himself thought Tyrod Taylor was starting the game. He got told by the training staff right after the coin toss that Taylor wasn't going to be able to go, that he was going to have to go to the hospital because he was experiencing chest pains and difficulty breathing. And so he walks over to Herbert at that point, which might have been 9 minutes before kickoff, 8 minutes before kickoff. And he's like, all right, kid, you're making your first NFL start against the defending Super Bowl champion.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck. And boy, he
And
did have some good
very
luck.
difficult circumstances. Yeah, like literally. So very difficult circumstances, but he rose to the occasion, man. And he honestly, the thing that impressed me most was the way that he was operating in terms of his processing, his mental awareness. He was making NFL reads on the field. He was getting to his fourth read in the progression, and he was putting the ball in tight windows in NFL spots. He threw a touchdown pass on a four verts concept in the red zone where he put the ball in the back shoulder. On the left outside receiver, beautiful throw. And I hit Keenan Allen down the middle on a Mahomesian type throw, just an absolute rope bullet down the middle of the field, 25 yards. The type of throws that honestly you saw Phillip Rivers make a lot, not afraid to throw an interception and to fit the ball in tight windows and allow his playmakers to make plays. Right now, so just moving forward, I mean, Tyra is going to be available. We'll know more when we talk to Anthony at this point that Justin Herbert will be starting Sunday against the Panthers.
Daniel, this is Cody. I'm actually the Panthers writer for DraftTech.com. I'm the Panthers analyst. So I do a lot of scouting of college players coming into the NFL. And I love watching quarterbacks. And I differed very much from most of the draft community that was very down on Justin Herbert, that Justin Herbert is a project, that he would need another 2 to 3 years. And, back here when Luke Kuechly was drafted, our at-the-time general manager, David Gettleman, said that Christian McCaffrey had Luke Kuechly DNA, meaning he was the kind of person that would be in there at all hours studying the playbook, getting better at his craft, doing all the things to become a great football player. And I remembered when learning about Justin, learning about the family that he comes from, and just the wealth of ability and dedication that he has, I said, oh, this is a guy with Luke Kuechly DNA at the most important position in football. How is it that Anthony Lynn, after that performance, is still talking about maybe running with Tyrod Taylor? I mean, help us to understand what his decision-making might be, and especially after Justin put on an incredible performance. Doesn't he open up the Chargers' offense in ways that Tyrod just doesn't?
Yeah, so ultimately, it primarily comes down to one thing. Anthony Lynn, the pillar of his coaching philosophy is limiting turnovers and winning the turnover battle. And it's something that he was consistently at odds with Phillip Rivers, who's a guy who doesn't really care that much about throwing interceptions. He's going to chuck the ball downfield. He's going to put and last year it came up time and time again. The Chargers lost 9 of their 11 one-score games, a lot, and in 5 of those games, Phillip Rivers threw a second-half interception. 4 of those games was fourth-quarter interceptions. He was fed up. Anthony Lynn is fed up with losing games because of turnovers, and it happened again on Sunday. Everyone's talking about how great of a game Herbert played, and let me be the first one to say it was very impressive what he did under the circumstances. But on 2nd and 2, with an 8-point lead and about a minute left in the third quarter, he rolled out to his left, escaped pressure on a 2nd and 2, had 8 yards in front of him to gain a first down.
He could have ran it.
And instead, he chucked the ball down the middle of the field to a receiver that wasn't open and threw an interception. And Mahomes drives the Chiefs down on the field. The next drive scores a touchdown, 2-point conversion. This is high game. And that interception flipped the game. And so because of that pillar of his coaching philosophy, he loves Tyrod Taylor, a guy who doesn't throw interceptions. He doesn't see the middle of the field well. He has significant limitations as a passer, but he doesn't throw interceptions. And I can guarantee you he would not make that decision in that situation.
He doesn't throw touchdowns either.
But so in Anthony Lynn's mind, he believes that if he can limit turnovers on the offensive side of the ball, he has a good enough defense to win games. And on top of that, if you don't turn the ball over and you win the turnover battle, you're going to be in games more consistently. We can argue all we want about whether that's the correct philosophy, but that is his philosophy.
Do you think, that with Tyrod Taylor, that they would have been in that game like they were?
They were in the game because of the defense.
From the very beginning. So you're saying from the very beginning, the offense, because the offense just put points up. Yes, they did stop the Chiefs, but the offense they responded early with excitement. With, you know what I'm saying? There was something that was not there earlier. I don't think that they could. I think you could have had the same defensive performance. I just don't know if the offense would have matched with Tyrod Taylor in that game.
Yeah.
Right. There's no question, and getting back to what Cody said earlier, there's no question that Justin Herbert opens up the offense more. Just because he's willing to take more shots, and as a guy who scouted him, in college, he's got all of the physical tools, every single one. He checks every single box. The issues with him coming out of college were, can he get his mental processing to the point where he can operate an NFL offense? And can he learn to operate under center, because he had one under center snap in his entire college career. But when you're talking about physical tools, he's 6'6", 240. He ran a 4.6. He can make every throw in the NFL. He has, as big of an arm as you can have. The comps for him, are Carson Wentz and Josh Allen, just big time arm talent, big time athleticism. So he's going to be able to do things on the field that Tyrod Taylor can't do. The question is, can you trust him to make the right decisions in those key moments that decide football games? And at this point, Anthony Lynn believes and does trust Tyrod Taylor in those key situations to not make those backbreaking mistakes more than he trusts Justin Herbert. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. I understand where the team is coming from. I understand the logic. If it was up.
Oh, right. He's going to freeze up right when he gives the great point. Hold on. You froze up a little bit. You're coming back. You're coming back to
All
us.
right. Let me know when you can hear me. I'll start off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So if I was making the decision, I'd probably start Justin Herbert, because he's freaking exciting. Like, he's just an exciting player, and he injected some juice into that offense and galvanized that offense. But I'm not Anthony Lynn, and my philosophy is different than his, and ultimately it comes down to protecting the football. And also, one thing I should add, there's another facet to this. Anthony Lynn believes in Tyrod Taylor as a starting quarterback in this league. And it goes back to 2016 when he was with him in Buffalo. And he won games with him when Anthony Lynn was the offensive coordinator with the Bills. And he believes that Tyrod Taylor has never really gotten a fair shot to start in this league. And he's committed to giving him that opportunity.
I agree with that. I do want to interject this before everybody else pillages you with questions, is that we're North Carolinians. Phillip Rivers went to NC State, which I'm an East Carolina grad. We hate NC State. NC State is a bigger school than us with a football program. They had Russell Wilson, they have Phillip Rivers, they have this and that. We've had our players, Linville Joseph, which I'm going to be asking you about because he's the man. We've got a lot of this, but I've always disliked Phillip Rivers, and in a way, it's a little personal, A, but B, everybody has always been like, oh man, it's just gold jacket. But lies, dude. He has great numbers, but every fourth quarter, he's looking up to the heavens. And I'm Catholic. So, look, I'm not even downing him for being Catholic and having all the kids. He's looking up to the heavens going, why the hell did I just throw a touchdown in the interception in the fourth? Every damn game. He's lost so many games with fourth quarter interceptions. It must have been infuriating it was infuriating me. I feel like Chargers fans, did they even care about that? Or they're like, we just love Phillip Rivers.
He also won a lot of games with fourth quarter touchdowns. So
no playoff games. Not no playoff games.
So Chargers fans, it's sort of interesting because there's sort of a shift in the fan base now, obviously, because they moved to Los Angeles. San Diego, people from San Diegans love Phillip Rivers, and they would die for that man. The new fans, LA fans, have sort of seen the declining Phillip Rivers and may not have the same kind of loyalty to him as a quarterback. But the guy, so I think he's a fringe Hall of Famer. I don't know if he gets in, but he sort of has this legendary sort of atmosphere around him. Like the guy played on a torn ACL in the AFC Championship game really early on in his career. Like, he has a lot of respect around the league, and his numbers are outstanding. The question is, can a quarterback really get into the Hall of Fame having had the type of postseason success or failure that Phillip Rivers has?
I don't think he's had a single playoff win, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. They beat the Ravens in 2018 before they lost to the Patriots.
Was that his first playoff win of his career?
No, and then they won playoff games when that year he tore his ACL.
I feel like that one year they lost on the field goal. They were about to go into the AFC Championship. This is Marty Schottenheimer time, maybe. I'm not even sure if it was. All right, I'm turning the mic over because I'll just talk shit about Phillip Rivers.
Well, I'll throw in one more question before we pass it on to my guys, CK and Greg here. Yep. If you're it's kind of a two-part question. To go back to what we were saying about the quarterback, let me play devil's advocate a little bit. And doesn't this also have to be factored in if you're Anthony Lynn? You have a quarterback who, yeah, maybe you might risk putting a young rookie in there too early and messing with their trajectory or having them, maybe their confidence gets hurt or whatever. But on that 3rd and 2 play that you were talking about, that's a rookie football player in his first ever NFL game. Like, there's an argument to be made that sometimes you have to do that. You have to have those dumb plays so that way they resonate with you, not to happen again. Next time you have that lane to run, take that lane and run. Isn't there an argument to be made that by not having Justin in now, making those rookie mistakes on the fly, that now you're pushing that down the road to where you're going to have to do it next year as opposed to this year? And then once you're done with that, if you're a betting man, based off of the injury reports and all the information that you have right now, who is playing against the Panthers this Sunday? Who starts? Is it Justin or Tyrod? And froze. Wait, hold on. 1 minute. You're frozen.
Dramatic effect.
Let it go back. Yeah, let it go back to normal.
All right, let me know when I'm good
All
to
right,
go.
you're back to normal.
Okay, so first question is the key here is that they don't have to put Herbert in a position to make those mistakes right now. This isn't a situation like the Texans in 2017 where you have Tom Savage ahead on the depth chart of Deshaun Watson. Like, you have a much better player in Tyrod Taylor than Tom Savage ever was. And so in there, as you don't need to make those mistakes right now. It was an abbreviated offseason. He got no mini camp. He's behind the 8 ball already because of the offense he ran at Oregon. Allow him time to get acclimated mentally, and then hopefully when he gets on the field in 2021, or if he has to play this season, but the idea is he would get on the field later and have time to mentally adjust. Then you're going to limit the amount of mistakes he makes. And then the second question, so I think Herbert's going to start again just because if you have an adverse reaction to an injection like this, it's not the type of thing that gets resolved in 4 or 5 days. He could be back. I'm not saying we'll know more tomorrow when we talk to Anthony Lynn. But right now, based on what I know, I would expect Herbert to be starting because I don't think Taylor is going to be physically ready.
Okay.
Have you heard the rumors that some people? All right, so the NFL has got 5,000 people involved and there have been 0 cases of COVID. Right? It's like, and hey, don't worry. I've been to Florence, Italy. I've been to the Florida Keys. I ain't got no COVID, so we ain't gonna debate it and this and that. But some people on Twitter immediately go, "Does Tyrod Taylor have COVID?" That's what they said.
Oh.
That was the first thing people went through out. I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's not that.
I'm just
It's not
joking.
that.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But still, isn't it insane that the whole world gets COVID, but the NFL is immune?
I don't think it's crazy because I see the protocols every day. I mean, these teams have strict protocols. I mean, here's an example. Every person in the Chargers organization wears a tracking bracelet around their wrist. And each team is tiered into different tiers. So your GM and coach and players and coaching staff would be in tier 1. Less relevant people would be in tier 2. If a tier 1 person comes within 6 feet of a tier 2 person, an alarm starts going off on that bracelet.
Oh, it's like that Amazon thing.
Does it shock them
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a dog
I mean,
collar?
like each team has understood that, in order to win football games, you're going to need all your players healthy. And in order for all your players to be healthy, you got to take this thing seriously. So I'm surprised that there haven't been any cases now that teams are traveling, but they're being really strict about it. It's plane, bus, hotel, bus, plane, or game, hotel, bus, home. Like that's and fly home. Like it's
for the
they're not
players.
going out. But
Good. That's kudos to the players. To be honest, is that
Totally,
all that?
totally.
Yeah, is kudos to them for holding it up. All right, I'm gonna pass the mic. I'm sorry for interjecting, Greg.
Let me ask this question, and just be very candid, very frank, very honest with us. Coming off of a game like that, where you take the defending Super Bowl champions to the wire, do Charger fans and just football people in general, do you think that this is meant to be a get-right game for LA? I mean, the Panthers are coming off of 2 hard losses. A lot of the same problems on our offense from the past few years has kind of followed us. We really don't have a downfield attack. And it's funny because I feel like Tyrod Taylor and Teddy Bridgewater are very comparable quarterbacks. They're game manager type quarterbacks. They take care of the football. Not so much last week for Teddy, but generally they're game managers. They distribute the football well. That's, they're that trustable, dependable quarterback, right? And that's really who Teddy Bridgewater is. But now that we're absent Christian McCaffrey, I'm looking at the Panthers offense and that loaded Chargers defense. And as a Panthers fan, it's hard for me to envision a scenario where this game doesn't potentially get bad for us.
So this is one thing I've learned covering the league. These are the types of games that always end up being close. And more times than not, NFL games are close. I mean, you're going to get more one-score games than you are going to get blowouts because the margins aren't that big between a bad team and like a mediocre team, you know? Right. So, you know, talent-wise, you look at the depth charts and you compare paper to paper. The Chargers are a more talented team and should win this game by a mile. But, you know, the question is, can they get the offense going if Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback? And if have teams all week to plan for you. Like we talked about, he found out he was starting 8 minutes before the game began. And so the Chiefs were as surprised as everyone else when Herbert walked onto the field. What happens when you have a coaching staff that can prepare an entire week, prepare a game plan for Herbert, and take away the things that he likes to do? That's what I would be curious about if Herbert's playing. But ultimately, like, I'm always going to expect an NFL game to be close regardless of how lopsided the talent may seem.
Okay. Hey, this is Greg, man. I got a quick question for you. Panthers have been having trouble defending the run over the last few years, but especially this year. And I wanted to talk to you about what seems like you kind of have a two-headed monster with this rookie Joshua Kelly and Austin Eckler. You guys are between the two of them, I think it's about 150 yards a game. And Kelly's turned out to be a pretty decent rookie from what I understand. He broke a big 25-yard in the first game. Do you think they're going to, I mean, even with Justin Herbert being new, we don't have a lot of footage on him, or we have a little bit, and throwing him into the kind of lion's den as far as starting right away. Do you think that it's going to be more of the run game that we're susceptible to? That's going to stop us or going to hurt us more?
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers have committed to the running game this season. You know, they went out and traded for Trey Turner, obviously a guy you guys are very familiar with at right guard. They went out and signed Brian Bulaga to try and overhaul the right side of this offensive line. And they've been running the ball pretty well through their first two games. You know, I look more at yards per carry than I do at yards per game because, you know, the game numbers are going to be, you know, dictated by situational stuff. If you're leading, you're obviously going to run more in the second half. They're about a little over 4 yards per carry, so they're running the ball well. But like you alluded to, this two-headed backfield that they have right now is two very different pieces that run the ball in different styles. Austin Eckler is a very slippery runner, more elusive, more shifty. Obviously can get out in the flat and run routes literally all over the field in the passing game. Joshua Kelly is going to be more of a physical downhill runner that's going to run between the tackles and try and hit somebody. The offensive line has been pretty cohesive in terms of their run blocking so far. They've been opening up consistent holes. It's been sort of a forte of this offense so far. And the one key with this new Chargers scheme that they've implemented is, you know, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or it's Justin Herbert, they have an extra number in the running game now because the quarterback is a threat to run. Phillip Rivers was never a threat to run. So you basically were playing 10 guys against 11 in the running game. Now you got 11 against 11. That changes a lot. So you're going to see a lot of the zone read. You're going to see speed option. You're going to see some quarterback power. You're going to see a lot of RPO. It's going to look a lot more like that Chiefs Ravens type offense with a mobile quarterback than what you've seen in the past with Phillip Rivers. But the run game is Anthony Lynn's bread and butter. You're talking about a guy who came up as a running back in the NFL as a player. He was a running backs coach. He wants to run the football. He went to that Chiefs game wanting 45 carries. They got to 44. He was pleased with that. I would expect a similar game plan heading into this game just because that's what he wants this offense to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'll set the over-under at 160 for yards per game, or yards this Sunday for the Chargers. You taking the over or the under?
That's tough. That's a good line. Probably the under. 160 is a lot. I'll take the under. Because even if they get to like 140, 145, that's still
a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
And a great run defense. Guys, you're listening to Daniel Popper from The Athletic, beat writer for the LA Chargers. Got to make sure I don't call them by their old name. On top of that, if you look at his Twitter profile pic, it looks like you can be an actor, homie. That's a good.
Oh, all right.
That's a good little pick, right?
That's the
there.
Athletics professional photography that we got at the combine. I appreciate that.
I do want to. I got a couple questions for you just on specific players. We want to know about Trey Turner first. The Panthers trade Trey Turner, one of the Dave Gettleman's greatest draft picks, third rounder, Pro Bowler repeatedly. His play deteriorated though as he was with Carolina, and it was hard to decipher if it was him or if it was just being part of a bad offensive line. Then he goes to the Chargers, and I know that battling injuries has been a theme for the entire line, not just him.
The team in general, man. This team is injured every year.
Tell us about Trey Turner and that offensive line right now.
Yeah, like I said before, they sort of come together. I mean, Trey Turner, he missed the first game with a knee injury. He injured his knee in practice and missed the opener. But he came in on Sunday, and the line played well. I mean, they ran the shit out of the football. So, you got to tip their hat to them. But it's hard to sort of gauge what they are as a pass protecting unit just because the scheme has affected their pass protection so much. They're getting the ball out super quick. And like I said, they're doing a lot of RPO, a lot more.
Pause. 1, 2. You're back. Almost.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Try it one more time.
The Athletic's going to have to boost your Wi-Fi signal.
Is it my Wi-Fi? I literally just set it up yesterday because I moved, so I might have to move closer to the Wi-Fi.
It's cool. Don't worry, dude. We are part of the internet. We started this podcast in 2013, going live. So I've been battling the issues of the internet the entire time. So you don't worry about. Continue with Trey Turner, knee injury, battling that, but played this week, played well.
Yeah, so they've been blocking well in the run game. The line looks pretty cohesive, even with some backups coming in there. Brian Bulaga got hurt early in the game. It's been sort of hard to gauge where they're at in pass protection, just because the scheme changes have alleviated a lot of the pressure on the offensive line. They're getting the ball out quickly, a lot more play action, and then having a mobile quarterback who can escape pressure. Obviously, that's going to help your guys up front in pass protection. But I still haven't watched the tape from Sunday, so I'm doing that tonight or tomorrow morning, so I'll get a better read on sort of how Trey Turner looked from a closer angle, obviously. But from what I saw live, he looked great, and they were running the ball behind him pretty frequently with some success.
What do you guys think about the trade itself? We get Russell Okung, sadly, 4 years too late. Now, and I have no problems with his play yet. We haven't had enough tape to look. Russell Okung could take a nap out there and be better than the left tackles we have had since 2015 when we went to the Super Bowl. In 2016, I think it was 2016, we signed, who was it? Matt Khalil. We had Matt Khalil. There were 3 left tackles. They all went basically for the same dollar amount. Russell Okung negotiated his own contract, went to the Chargers. Then you had the guy that went to the Rams, who is old.
Whitworth.
And somehow was still awesome. And then we got the stupid-ass Matt Khalil, he was awful. And we're still paying this guy. Unfortunately, we get Russell Okung a few years late. What do you just think about the overall trade there? We just kind of figure we're happy with it. 1-year deal for us. What does it mean for the Chargers?
Yeah, I think it sort of made sense for both sides. The Chargers needed some juice on the interior of their line, and they went out and got a young player in Trey Turner who is already a proven pro and still probably has some room to grow at only 26 years old. And they felt like young? I think he's really young. He's super young. So the Chargers, I think at that point, felt like they could make a run at Brian Bulaga because they hired his former offensive line coach in Green Bay and James Campen. So I think they felt like they could really solidify the right side of their line. And then they had a guy in Sam Tevy who played hurt last year, a former 6th-round pick who they felt had left tackle feet and could play left tackle. And that's sort of how it all came together. And I think for the Panthers, you really need to set the tone for your locker room when you're a rookie coaching staff and Matt Rhule. And Russell Okung is a proven guy, extremely intelligent human being, a leader in the Players Association, a guy who can come in and set the tone in terms of your culture right off the bat. And so I think it made sense for both sides. I thought it was you rarely see a player for player trade in the NFL. It's been more frequent lately. But I thought it was a trade that made sense for both sides. And I thought that the Panthers got what they wanted in terms of getting a sort of a veteran to set the tone. And the Chargers got what they want in terms of a more solid player on the interior of their line.
Y'all love Linval Joseph, don't you? He's like arguably I hate to say it. Look, East Carolina University. Stupid people will call us East Carolinian or Eastern Carolina. That's what the stupid people call it. ECU. We're the ECU Pirates. We've had Jeff Blake. We've had David Garrard. We've had Chris Johnson. There's a list of players that we've put into the NFL that have been phenomenal. Terrence Copper.
Is this an East Carolina podcast?
Well, I am an alumni. Linval Joseph, though, if he wasn't a defensive tackle, arguably is one of the best players, if not the best player to come out of East Carolina. What I mean by that is defensive tackles don't get love because they don't get the sexy stats. What do you guys think about Linval Joseph?
I'll give Linval some love. I'll give him some love. I mean, the Chargers' pass rush has been a force through 2 games this season. And not a whole lot has changed except for one guy in the middle, and that's Linval Joseph. The amount of attention.
Oh, gosh. You got to pause on my Linval Joseph. Come on back.
Can you hear me?
Back to us. Come on back. There you are.
All right, I'll keep going on Linval Joseph. The amount of tension that he gets on the interior as a pass rusher in passing situations opens up so much for these other pass rushers, and you're already seeing it. I mean, Linval Joseph was the only guy that changed on this defensive line from year to year, and that's the reason why their pass rush has been a force through the first 2 games of the season. He demands a double team every play. I mean, if you put one offensive lineman on Linval Joseph, he's going to move that man out of the way, and he's going to get to the quarterback. And so that attention has allowed Joey Bosa to get one-on-ones, has allowed Melvin Ingram to get one-on-ones, has allowed Jerry Tillery to get one-on-ones, has allowed Uchenna Nwosu to get one-on-ones, and they've been winning those one-on-ones pretty consistently through these first 2 games. And I think you really have to credit Linval Joseph for opening up those pass rushing lanes for these edge rushers.
Give us an injury report for the Chargers.
So they're pretty injured right now. They obviously lost Derwin James for the season.
Get ready. Here it comes.
Yeah. He's like, how much time do you have? You got 3 hours? I'll get through the whole injury report. So Derwin James is out for the season. He tore his meniscus in training camp. Drew Tranquil, their rising star, Will linebacker, broke his ankle in week 2. They're starting free safety, has a groin injury. They're starting right tackle, Brian Bulaga, has a knee injury. Who else? Trey Turner is also dealing with something. Justin Jones, their starting 3 technique, has a pretty severe injury. We don't know exactly what it is because Anthony Lynn wouldn't reveal it. So they've got some pretty significant injuries on the defensive side of the ball. And third
Ingram
down defense.
Hurt?
He banged up his knee or right legs for a period of time in that game, but he went back on the field.
Okay.
He's a really tough player, so it's going to take a lot for him not to play. But the thing is, even if Melvin Ingram doesn't play, the guy behind him who's going to be the starter next year, because I think they're going to move on from Melvin Ingram, Uchenna Nwosu, is a baller. And if you go watch the tape from these first 2 games, he is abusing tackles on a play-to-play basis. He's a really, really good player.
Yay. All right, CK, you haven't gotten the mic yet. CK, what do you want to ask? I know you got something.
I mean, honestly, you asked the question I wanted to ask about who won the trade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was thinking who won that trade, and I think it was we had this discussion and everybody was up in arms about the fact that we got rid of Trey Turner, who had so many more years left, for a older veteran who didn't really have. He was on the back end of his career and whatnot, but when we looked at it from the perspective of cap benefit next year and all that stuff, I mean, there were a lot of moving parts that made sense for us to do that. So I was going to ask how he enjoyed the trade, but it sounds like it was a pretty happy medium for everybody.
Well, that's past.
Yeah, I will add this. Let me add this about Russell. He didn't play at all last year because he had a pulmonary embolism before the season and then injured his calf. He might have played 150 snaps tops, less than that. So he's old. He's 31 or 32 now, but he's coming off a season where he pretty much didn't play any football. So that's a factor too.
We were concerned with, and not with the trade at that point. I've been a fan of him for a while when he came out of Denver, and for different reasons, and partially because of what was going on with the Panthers, even less than with him. But with that history, there were some rumors that he might sit out this year because of COVID. I'm glad he's playing because then it would have been a bust for us. Cody, you got the questions. You got the final questions. Come on, hit them up, and don't let them off the hook.
All right, Daniel, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you with a real hard ball here. I saw on Twitter, Justin Herbert looks like the star of a Disney Channel original movie where the quarterback secretly has a passion for musicals. What say you?
I like it. I like
I
it.
like it too. I like it too, and I think it's perfect. Listen, man, I hope your Disney Channel star becomes a great quarterback, because the more Justin continues to improve, the more I get to rub it in people's face who did nothing but shout that he was a draft bust. I think you guys have a damn good football team. I really like how you guys signed Joey Bosa right at around that time. I think it was right after Myles Garrett, so he got just a little more money than him. Kudos to him. A very simple final question to you. If the Chargers win on Sunday, what does that mean they did well against the Panthers?
Ooh, good question. I like that one.
Yeah. So it means they ran the ball well. It means they limited turnovers. It means they forced turnovers on defense, and it means they got off the field on third down on defense.
Nice.
Are you gonna make Are you gonna make Jordan Rodriguez write half of your articles this week? Oh, do you even?
We're gonna hit her up and get insight. She knows this team well.
She's the former Panther person. Yeah, she's also been on this podcast as well. Daniel Popper, Chargers beat writer for The Athletic. Tell them what The Athletic just provides and why people should subscribe to it, because I'm a fan of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you're going to get the best sports content in the world, period. We have the most talented roster of writers in all of sports, and we work our asses off to give you guys all the information you need to know about your team to feel like you can be the best fan you can be.
Dude, I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast tonight. This is what our fans want to hear. We're deep divers. We're going to be talking probably to midnight tonight. We appreciate you hanging out with us, man, and I hope maybe we can get this again.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks. That's Daniel Popper, the Chargers beat writer for The Athletic. You can find him on Twitter at Daniel R. Popper. Guys, great interview there. The Chargers, who were already a challenging foe as it was, I think become more irritating with Justin Herbert. Please take over the mic for me while I go relieve myself.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. I think what I saw from Justin Herbert was way more exciting, and I think him doing what he does is exactly what the Chargers need to do to really target our weakness, and that is be explosive out of the pocket, certainly, but also be able to push the ball against that secondary, because that's going to be huge when you have open run lanes like we've been allowing people to have. If you could do that, you're going to have open opportunities downfield, and our secondary is not good enough to stop that at all.
Yeah, I think that it really puts a light on a bright future for that franchise, because they have a very young, very good defense. They have an all-star wide receiver, Pro Bowl wide receiver. They have a great running back. They've got a good offensive line. They're really set up well for the future. I don't know what their salary cap situation looks like, but just looking at the team right now with the young talent they have, they look like there's a force to be reckoned with for the next decade, maybe.
They have a fantastic defensive line. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Jerry Tillery, the defensive tackle that drafted from Notre Dame. I mean, they're loaded on defense. I mean, I really think – I don't know what the status of Dennis Daly is, but, man, if he's not healthy and we don't have Christian, like, guys, this could get bad real fucking quick.
With that defense, that front line.
Yeah, if we're being very candid, very honest. I mean, listen, he's going to have to get the ball out fast, and we don't know if he's going to have enough time to be able to do that. My question to you guys is this. If we end up losing this game bad and we're 0-3, right? That's one of the worst ways that you can start a football season. Are we now looking on this roster to trade any player of value and just fully delve into the rebuild?
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it, man.
I don't know if they've see the problem is if they want to trade Curtis Samuel, they've got to play him more. Right now, they've got to. If that's the game plan, you have to give him more snaps to show what he can do so he has value. Otherwise, there's not you're not going to get anything for that cat. You haven't given him enough opportunity.
It's like trying to convince Panther fans.
Yeah.
No, that's easy. We could have convinced them already. Here,
Yeah,
I
you
do
don't
have
think
a
that
point
New
about
England would be interested in picking up if we put it
that's what
out
I'm
there?
saying.
Well,
You
it
know
would
what?
have to be a
That?
Cam lobbyist only. That would be a Cam lobbyist only. I do want to bring this up that a friend of mine, Eddie, who also looks exactly like Judge Ito from the O.J. Simpson trials. Yeah, he's like, that goes way back. I haven't seen him in forever, but he always hits me up on Twitter. He said this, and I thought this was brilliant. And by the way, he's already started a page. He's changed his Twitter handle where he said, "I thought I was a Panther fan. Turns out I was a Cam fan." And he's a and he's a Cam Patriot. Like it's
Cam
funny.
Patriot?
Yeah. So his Twitter handle is my snap face, which is also brilliant. My snap face. He said this: CMC going down. Curtis Samuel now a running back.
Ooh.
Yeah,
See,
and
and you saw him in the running back position.
I was like,
Yeah.
my God, that's right. That's exactly right. And that's what I think is going to happen. If it doesn't happen,
Really?
we need to make it happen. They ran him as a RB. We know he was he was that in college. He was like the flex. He ran out of the backfield. He ran out of this and that. And they've been trying to make him a receiver. But now out of necessity, it might be Mike Davis and Samuel in the backfield. I think it's actually a brilliant play. And Judge Ito, a.k.a. at my snap face on Twitter.
But this is my thing, though. So the Panthers have had a history of really not doing right by some of their best players. I mean, we don't have to rehash everything with the Cam Newton thing. Steve Smith, we can go back that far. Greg Olsen wasn't necessarily happy about the situation. So in my mind, this is the last year that Curtis Samuel has to prove himself before he ends up getting paid with the Panthers or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Do right by him and put him in a position to get paid. It's not going to be with the Carolina Panthers.
He's not that
we have
good,
not had.
bro.
We have no.
He's
Because
not
this is what
that good.
I keep saying.
Y'all
This is what I keep saying, and you don't hear me every time that I say it. Curtis Samuel is a deep threat wide receiver.
Exactly.
When you're able to run a
Not if
4-3-1,
you can't get off the line, bitch.
That's what
If
you
you
have to
can't
be able
get
to. No,
off
but this
the
isn't
line,
getting off the line.
it don't
You have to
matter
have a quarterback that can throw more than 25 yards.
Yeah.
And we
I
haven't
agree with
had
you right
that.
there,
And we
yep.
haven't had that for 3 or 4 years. We have not been the type of team, but the kind of quarterback to be able to get Curtis Samuel the ball in stride down the field when he has a foot or more of separation from the defensive back. We do not have the type of quarterback to hit him in stride that way.
That Curtis Samuel, y'all are, and
It's
I
not.
loved him
Y'all
coming
are
out of
blaming
college.
Curtis Samuel.
No, you have no evidence for any of this other than a 40 time.
Yes, I didn't. There's a ton of plays from the past 2 years in a row. Curtis Samuel running free down the sideline, and either Kyle Allen or whatever just didn't see him, didn't throw it, or Cam Newton was hurt and didn't throw it. There's a million of those plays. There's a million of them. But and I don't blame him if a lot of people are saying that, well, he doesn't look good now. I honestly feel like homeboy is dejected because he knows he's not going to have the chance.
Bird is better than Curtis Samuel.
Who?
I wouldn't go that far. Now, I'm more on Tony's side here, where I don't think Curtis.
Look at him Sunday night. Beating ass. Where is he at now? The Patriots. What's he doing? Feasting, homie.
And you don't think that if Curtis Samuel was on that football team, he wouldn't be doing everything that Damiere Byrd's doing and then
That's my
some?
thing. Yeah, that's my thing. Is
Damiere
I'm on Tony's
ain't ever
side.
done anything but produce on me. So
Yeah.
you guys, you think I hate on Curtis Samuel? Y'all motherfuckers underestimate Baby Bird. Chirp, chirp, chirp.
I liked
chirp.
Bird. I thought he had an opportunity, but
Bird
he was hurt way more than Curtis Samuel's ever been.
And you know what? Damiere Byrd never did.
He's
his
so
shit
much
for the
smaller. He
Panthers.
will get raised.
Just like
He's like Baby
Samuel.
Lop. He's
Both
like
of
Baby
them.
Lockett, actually. And I just thought, I did think about this. I was thinking about this as we watched that New England game, as we watched Baby Bird chirp, chirp, chirp out there. Right. And Darius Jones says Bird is injury prone. Yes, he is. Is that like he is fragile in the case of they asked him to do kick return. Like, yeah. And he had some bad luck, and he's very small. He's getting bigger. Curtis Samuel also has gotten bigger. And let's not forget that Curtis Samuel has had his own injury problems. So it's not like just Damiere Byrd. But really, the ideal player is Tyler Lockett. And
Dude, we need a big body receiver right now. Like we have
we don't need Tyler Lockett now. What I'm saying is this is like what you say Curtis Samuel is or could be is Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, and by the way, I wanted him to come out, and that was 2014. He comes out of Kansas State. The only reason I knew of him at that moment is because my wife's cousins are all K-State grads, and they're all EMA people, and they were like, Baby Lockett. They call him Baby Lockett, little Baby Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
Keep him close to your heart, Baby Lockett. And you know what? He actually had a little bit. He has been what we want Damiere Byrd and Curtis Samuel ultimately to be. The undersized receiver that had a little bit injury history, but that mode goes out and balls. Straight up. That's the deal. That's what you want Curtis Samuel to be.
So I have a question for you, Tony, then. Going back a little bit. Devin Funchess or Curtis Samuel? Who are you taking?
Curtis Samuel.
Oh, yeah. I have fucking no doubt I'm taking Curtis Samuel.
Just trying to set a bar, figure out where he ranks.
You know what?
All right, but
Devin Funchess more accomplished, though, than
Cam
Curtis
Newton.
Samuel.
Cam Newton was healthy when Devin Funchess was here playing.
It's
for
true.
the most part. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Listen, if Cam Newton was healthy the past 2 years, he would still be on the football team right now. Because everything that we were saying before 2018 and 17 would have been true. We did have a real football team around Cam. We had the deep threat in Curtis Samuel. We drafted DJ Moore. Christian McCaffrey was on the football team. I mean, we had players, but a hurt Cam Newton kept us from realizing that potential. My thing is now, we need to have enough foresight to recognize if this is going to go bad, get rid of whoever on the team
is not in your future plans.
Careful.
No, I mean,
would you trade Christian
Okay.
McCaffrey?
So what?
Would you trade Christian McCaffrey?
Hell no.
Hell yes.
I mean, dude, I would. I don't want
Really?
to.
I mean, I don't. Hell yes. That's too quick. Sorry, that sounded a little bit too much. It's like, I don't need necessarily a king's ransom, but would you trade him to move up into the first spot next year? Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't be, but because I wanted to ask you guys something about this. We don't necessarily have to pick the first pick to be in a good position. Because, I mean, I want Trevor Lawrence, but even if we did by chance win 2 games and get the second pick, Justin Fields is still out there. We've got 2 good quarterbacks coming out. So I don't think that not getting the number 1 pick is a complete failure if that's what they're doing is tanking. I think they're tanking to try to get a top 3 pick.
A lot of people are listen. Justin Fields is very good. I would love to have him on the football team, but there's a reason why Trevor Lawrence has been talked about as the first pick in the draft. There were legitimately NFL teams that were at Clemson's practices saying, "Hey, see that freshman over there with the long blonde hair who's never played a snap? A lot of players might take him first right now." That was before his incredible college football career. Like everything that Trevor Lawrence has done puts him in a rank above a lot of those guys. Yeah. And my thing is this: if you have the opportunity to get a franchise building quarterback that has won everywhere he's been, that you know is a leader, that you're going to be able to build around him. Listen, I would love for him and Christian McCaffrey to be on the same team. I'm hoping that that's what happens, that we don't have to move off of Christian and trade to get into that number one spot.
I have a question.
But if that's what it required, if you were to tell me that trading McCaffrey equals the number one pick in the draft, I say you have to, right?
I have a question. Caesar or House?
Caesar.
CK?
What is it?
Caesar or
Caesar?
House?
Oh, house salad. I was like, wait, I was like so confused there for a minute. House, 100%.
Oh,
Enough
is
all
not
this
even the
going
right
back and forth
video?
and
Oh
all
my
this other
God.
stuff. Y'all need to go ahead and pick the house salad because it's gonna be the best for everybody. You never know if somebody like all the Parmesan cheese and all the other extra croutons and stuff like that. So
I
you
hear
gotta
it.
go with the house salad. The house is for everybody.
What a bust that was. I had that stupid Dante Jackson crap playing over it. Still, one more time because I just have to do it. And I think it's here. Where'd it go? Oh my goodness. Anyway, you heard it a little bit. Here it is.
Tony, enough all this going back and forth and all this other stuff. Y'all need to go ahead and pick the house salad because it's gonna be the best for everybody. You never know if somebody like all the Parmesan cheese and all the other extra croutons and stuff like that. So you gotta go with the house salad.
Parmesan
The
cheese?
house is for
Who
everybody.
doesn't like croutons? And who the fuck's favorite food is salad? That's the only reason I say Devin Funchess is Curtis Samuel over Devin Funchess.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
What up?
I mean, don't get me wrong.
No,
good salad's good every
and
once in a while,
look,
but-
is that like, would I call him a bitch to his face? Maybe, actually. But I would say this is like, homie, I made this judgment on you before you dropped a single ball. You had an interview on WFNZ on your rookie first day at training camp, and they asked you what your favorite food was. And he said, I don't really like food. I like to eat that much. I guess salad. And then the irony of this was 4 years later when he was like trying to step into his own, he had like an episode hosted by like the Panthers that was like how he was getting into cooking. I was like, shut up, Biz. What's your version of cooking?
What you gonna cook?
Pre-made
Yeah, what you gonna
salad.
cook?
You open the bag. You open the
What
bag
you
and
gonna
you
cook?
toss the dress. All right.
Chicken salad. We got some cat calls?
Yes, we need to do that. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, damn. Way to move it
sound
along.
perfect.
We got to do Cam's interview.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in the snow? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, C3 Podcast? It's your boy Run DMC Lovato. I think the best part of last Sunday's game, whenever I heard that Mark Schlereth was going to be the commentator,
Oh my God, that dude's a joke.
I'm just happy I didn't hear, it's National Tight Ends Day. That was my worst fear last year, whenever we played the 49ers. That's all he kept saying the whole game, and he kept trashing our team, and it was not an enjoyable game. Also, speaking of SmackDown, and then he would cut to the WWE commercials. It was the 49ers Panthers game last year had to be the least enjoyable game, and I'm just happy it wasn't like that this week. But that's all I got to say, guys. Run DMC out.
What do you guys think about all the injuries this week? It was a smackdown in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
I am of the mindset that but San Fran, they had 4 people go down, and now they're
Their
bitching
shit
about
is
the turf.
weird, yo. Their
But
shit is
they're
weird.
saying that the turf at that stadium, that both teams were complaining about it before practice. So I think it was up there in MetLife. Yeah,
Did you hear they couldn't get an MRI on the guy because like the truck didn't work? Like it was like they got in an ambulance and the shit was broken. Like, what the hell? What a terrible...
I didn't hear about it, but I sort of think a lot of and I don't know this, but I think it's because of this COVID shit, man. I think when you had an entire offseason, like you have to think, normally a few weeks before the season starts,
we get all those ACL injuries. You'll get you got the Benjamin injury. Like you get all these during training camp, actually.
Right, but while people were in quarantine, normally they would have been meeting up with their teammates, practicing, doing more, and not being under lockdown. So, I mean, I don't know that that's what happened, but that's kind of what my mind says it is. And I also feel like every other year is a really bad year for injuries. Like it'll kind of skip a year, right? But then, there's like I remember a few years back. This was a crazy
purge though this week, and to your point about the COVID is old school players continue to say that the reduced amount of practice time has resulted in more non-contact injuries, and it's like almost like these guys are in such exceptional shape, right? But they've exercised in such sanitary type conditions where it's like so controlled. Like it's like, all right, you're gonna run on the treadmill for 12 hours, you're gonna lift weight, and they're like,
what I'd be interested in? I'd be interested to see the difference in statistics. I know they didn't necessarily consider certain injuries as like actual injuries back in the day, like such as concussions, but I'd be interested to see the difference between the type of injuries that you were receiving back, say, 20 years ago when they were running ridiculous amount of practices and all this stuff, and as opposed to now where there's barely any. I mean, if you guys think about it, these guys practice for an hour. Like
an hour, and it's fake practice, bro. If you've been to spring, it's like if you look at it, you're like, damn, it's not what you think practice is.
No, and it's so you would think that they would be running an entire game just to be able to actually be game fit, like. But the reality is, these guys are doing most of their I guess fitness in the gym, and it's not happening on the actual game, like actually running plays and whatnot.
That's why I'm really interested. Guys call them soft, bro.
Yeah, well, I'd be interested to see the difference. I know that those older guys maybe have a little bit more health problems, but we don't know how the current scenario is going to work out. These guys may still have the same issues, regardless of how they practice.
Yeah, did you watch the Cam Seattle game? That's what I call it, the Cam.
Dude.
And the reason I asked this, we're not going to get into it just yet because we'll do a couple more calls, but was N'Keal, I don't know how to say his name, N'Keal Harry. He was night, bro. Did you see that play? He got blasted. And
man.
He laid there now he got up and he woke up real quick and stuff. I am questioning the concussion protocol and all that. I said my man's night.
Hey, man, and how about this? It would have been even worse if Cam Newton put that football just a little more out in front of him. It would have been even worse. But Cam Newton is doing for the Patriots what we've always known him to be able to do, put the ball right on your numbers, right when it matters the most. And I don't give a shit I don't care who disagrees with me, man. But like now there's this narrative that now that Cam Newton is a Patriot, oh man, he's changed. McDaniels has gotten to him. He's fixed his footwork. He's throwing some of the best footballs he ever has. Yeah, he has started to do that work and that transformation here in Carolina. He just never got the chance.
He never had protection. No, it's not even health, bro. It's protection.
Well, right, but they're both the same thing.
Yes, it is together, but it was protect. Cam was accurate with time.
What were we chanting on this podcast 2 years in a row? Build that wall.
Yes.
We were trying to build an offensive line around Cam Newton, and I was pounding the table for it.
And their shit isn't even that great. Their shit is not like phenomenal. It's just competent. That
well
shows you
coached.
how incompetent the fucking Panthers line was. Next call, 252. Actually,
Hey,
pause it real
Panthers
quick. Let me tell you this. 252-228-5098. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. Homies, like the podcast. We're bringing you interviews. We're bringing multiple episodes a week. We're bringing you the fire. No salad here. All straight meat. Straight from the bone. From the cam bone. Here it comes. 252-228-5098.
Does this mean we sign Reggie Bonifon back to the active roster?
I think we already
Wasn't
did.
he supposedly the, cheap man's version of McCaffrey last year?
I think we signed Bonifon back, and the reason I say that, and I haven't seen any written confirmation on this, is that the Coach Rhule said this, is he's like, well, we got Mike and we got Reggie. And I was like, all right, well, I thought y'all cut Reggie. So I think we did sign him back. I'm not 100% sure with that, but
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Why would you – where is Jordan Scarlett at this point?
Oh, he was it with he tried with the Chargers. Did he go with the Chargers? And I don't know if he made it, but I think I saw that he was working out with their practice squad. And
so I'm just saying,
somebody
pick him
said
up?
this. Somebody said, "Oh, they're doing intel." I was like, "Bro, he got cut before before we got Matt Rhule, so there's no intel there." Yeah. But I think that's where he's
not
at.
with the Chargers. No, he's not with the Chargers.
No,
who's he with?
No, they have 4 running backs. They have Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, and Gabe Neighbors.
I'd be interested.
Squad.
I mean, you got to think about it. If we can get him back,
that's where the last name I heard.
If we can get him back, just think about it. I mean, we could possibly give him an opportunity to prove he wasn't a draft bust.
You know who we should get? Cameron Artis Payne, brother.
Fucking
is he? There we go.
Is he done? Where's he at?
All right, well, he was in the XFL. He was in the XFL, and he was slaying it, bro. And he slayed it with Carolina. Fuck all y'all that hate Cameron Artis Payne, man. He's the best motherfucker that never got a hat in Carolina. And
hey, dude.
It's because I think not allegedly fucked Ron Rivera's daughter. That's my only theory. Like, how the fuck can this guy be great and never get a hat?
All right, Cody, go ahead.
You're retarded. But listen though, wouldn't Reggie Bonifon and Jordan Scarlett, doesn't that actually sound kind of low key formidable, like an okay defensive backfield? But wait a minute, we of course we cut Jordan Scarlett just for Christian McCaffrey to get hurt. It's almost like I'm on this new hill that I'm still willing to die on, that Marty Herney's ass should have been fired forever ago. And it pains me every day that he's still a part of this organization, dude.
I'm still surprised he wasn't fired after the draft.
I can't stand it.
I don't understand how it didn't happen after the draft. I thought that was I thought that was the master plan. It wasn't. Makes me ask questions. Next call.
Hold on real quick before you get the call. I want to tell you about Jordan Scarlett. Yeah. Looks like, from what I can tell, he's a free agent. August 23rd, articles come out about Panthers waiving the running back, but nothing about him being signed by anybody. But if you look at his Wikipedia, it says he's still with the Carolina Panthers, which I'm sure hasn't been updated. But I don't know.
Let's update it. Let's tell him this. Let's say, let's go ahead and update Wikipedia and say Marty Herney sucks and failed to sign Jordan Scarlett, and now he's a Panther because C3 Panthers podcast said it. Here's the next call.
After this, I want to talk about something.
What up, C3? It's your boy Mike.
Oh, Supreme Lita!
Supreme Lita!
My man, I like this dude.
Well, on last week, Henny. It is what it is. Moving on to this week, got the Chargers. At the Chargers, I know you guys are going to touch on it, so it's all good. I'm going to talk about that game. All these fans, what kind of fans are you? You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh,
I easily saw this team going 3-13. I saw them going 13-3. I mean, that's how I think. I think my team is going to win every week, regardless of the situation. Pulling for them. Even though I know they're in the crap house right now. But it's, I think the Trevor sweepstakes from the bottom teams that I see, we're the only one really dire. Browns, Baker, Cincinnati, Burrow, Dolphins, Tua, eventually.
Yeah.
Yes, they did draft Darnold a few years back, but I can't see him drafting Trevor. Maybe the Falcons, depending on where they place in the division with us. Matty Ice is kind of old, so you fire the coach.
His
here
call has been breaking up pretty bad.
All right, we're gonna pause it there and just go ahead and say Supreme Leader. Oh man.
Well, so actually, Tony, if you can grab the picture that I dropped into our Twitter messages,
All right,
Sunday Night Football, I believe that's who it is. Let me see, the NBC Power Rankings, or Pro Football Talk Power Rankings. They just came out with their list, the best teams in the NFL, from 1 to 32. And
hold on, slow up.
Okay. All right.
I haven't looked at this yet. I never look at the power rankings when we suck.
I never look at the power rankings, period.
Well, it's I think it's just kind of, it gives my heart just the slightest of, oh, okay, it's happening. We're actually we're actually in the running to get our quarterback, y'all. We're actually in the running to do it. Tony, do you have it up? If not, I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil.
No. Let me just see if I can do this. Let me see if I can just do a screen.
By the way, the question while you're pulling that up,
it takes me a little bit more time to download to change things than y'all think. Right,
so the whole point of Marty Herney, I am convinced Marty Herney is literally just the guy who has to break the bad news to people. I think Tepper,
he's the bad. Yes.
I think he's back there. I think Marty Herney is back in the back office just playing Minesweeper until he gets a call saying, hey, cut this guy for me, or go try to get a trade for this guy, or so on and so forth, or sign this guy, and then he's the guy who has to go do it. That way, Marty Herney saves face to the, most degree. But I think Marty Herney's just in the back office playing Minesweeper on his computer until he gets a call from Tepper.
Doesn't that make you
Look, you guys talking about Matt Herney. Did y'all see Harrison Butker the other day?
Oh, my God.
58-yard game winner.
Did you see what he did after it?
Yeah, he just walked off like a thug, bro.
Like, it wasn't even through the uprights yet. He put his arms up and walked off like the dude, bro.
I knew.
You know what, though? He got out of Carolina, and he won him a Super Bowl. So, props to him, man, for doing that.
I've been waiting for his decline, but I think he is the next, Will Lutz. Honestly, I think he's not going to have – you're not going to see him miss many kicks. He's probably going to have a long career, and he's going to chase, depending upon how well he does, he's going to chase after Tucker for that number one kicker in the NFL.
And you know what? And I say this is Dave Gettleman and Marty Herney on that to not know to not have balls. First, Dave Gettleman had the opportunity to go with him. He drafted him. He had the opportunity and he didn't. Marty Herney then went with the Gano, the safe, not safe, the known. Harrison Butker fucking has been on point. All right, Cody, tell us what you got to tell us about these power rankings. They're up.
So the Carolina Panthers are the 32nd ranked team in football. So
our offense is fine.
To them, yeah, right. To them,
how are we honestly ranked below the Jets? I already know that this list is fraudulent.
Well, you know why?
The Jets are they're awful. Their talent's worse. Their coaching's worse. Everything's their shit is abysmal. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. The Jets are the worst team in the history of football.
I would agree. I do not think we're 32nd. And to be fair, you get to look at it from we haven't. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to talk about this before we got on here. You know those Raiders we held our own against, put the stomping and made Drew Brees look like he was a rookie quarterback. Yeah. Like Drew Brees was not looking good out there. Drew Brees is gone, guys. I'm telling you, it's the end of his career. He is not the same Drew Brees.
Yeah,
he cannot throw the ball. He's got a noodle of an arm, dude. He is. That's why you just see the dink and ducks. Anyway, dude, those Raiders. I'm not going to say they sat there and blew them out. Obviously, it was only a 10-point game, but
all right, Cody, you brought these up. You made me fucking spend all this time downloading, remaking new scenes.
Yeah, I made you. Yeah,
explain this to me. Explain these rankings and how, anyway, through 28 through 32, that they tell us anything, because I disagree. I think there's two teams on this that are worse than us.
Well, I think here's the mindset behind it, right? No matter what you think about them, all those teams that are listed ahead of us, from the Giants, the Lions, the Jets, the Vikings, the Bengals, the Dolphins, they all have something in common, is that they have a reason to believe that they are set at the quarterback position. Because either they have paid a quarterback or they have recently drafted a quarterback.
Yep.
So, for example, right in front of us, you have the Giants. They drafted Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford with the Lions, and Sam Darnold with the Jets. Now, I think there's a lot of things wrong with the New York Jets. I think Adam Gase is probably the worst coach in football.
Yes.
I think that guy is probably on a lot of drugs. Yeah, that guy is bad.
He does
and
not
he's bad
deserve
everywhere he goes.
To even be involved in football.
He doesn't. And everywhere he goes, I mean, when he was with the Dolphins, it was bad. Pretty much everywhere he goes is bad. He ruins quarterback.
Right, so hold on. I want to say this because I got some friends, playlikeajet.com, the Play Like a Jet podcast. They've been on our show before, and every now and then they'll send me messages when our storylines coalesce. And he said, I told you you're going to like Robbie because he saw my Robbie is my dude post. And then we were talking in DMs about Gase. And he said, dude, that it was Peyton Manning's phone call. Peyton Manning is the reason he has a job.
That's insane.
Because if you think about it, is the only time Adam Gase has had any success when he was the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. And what that really means is that CK watching CK's camera was awesome right now. But he's been riding the coattails. He was not the offensive coordinator. What was Peyton Manning at all times when he was a player? The offensive coordinator on the field. So no, there's no question. He's the worst. He does not deserve to have a job as even an offensive coordinator. He should not even be in football.
Yep, I agree. But man, I mean, listen, the only thing that I'm trying to say is, listen, right now that McCaffrey's gone, listen, at least if we had McCaffrey, we knew that McCaffrey was good for at least a touchdown or two every single game. Mm-hmm. But now we don't have that. We don't have a clear running back, too.
We got Curtis Samuel. It's Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson time. But Curtis Samuel better be everything you said. It just turns out.
Well, here's my question. Yeah. I think it's important here. So could Christian McCaffrey's absence be fantastic for Curtis Samuel? Not because he's a running back, but because now they need that slot receiver to be able to catch the ball quickly and get, some yardage. Do you think, because here's the reality, the defenses plan around Christian McCaffrey, right? Mm-hmm. Now they don't. They can kind of spread the field a little bit. Now there's going to be an opportunity not only for the new running backs to show who they are, but also for somebody else to show up and show out. So if Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson show out, well, guess what? When Christian McCaffrey comes back, it's not just a matter of teams having to plan for Christian McCaffrey. They now have to plan for DJ Moore. They now have to account for Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel. So now all of a sudden, their teams are afraid of our threats as opposed to being like, oh, we just need to focus on Christian McCaffrey. Maybe that helps him out a little bit because they're not solely focused on one player.
The only argument I have to that, because you may be right, but if the team's focused around Christian McCaffrey, like all the defenses,
why weren't they doing better?
Why wasn't Exactly. Why weren't Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson doing better then if the defense is focused around one player?
I think the reality right now is there's no other option. They have to do well. If they don't do well now with Christian McCaffrey out of the mix, then Curtis Samuel doesn't have a spot on this team next year.
Can I also ask Cody, the Joe Brady expert, something? Does Ian Thomas even have a catch this season?
I
think he does have one.
So.
Ian Hurts got a catch.
Listen, whether he does or he doesn't.
This team doesn't even give a fuck about tight ends. And obviously that's Joe Brady's offense because we only went into the season with 2, and one of them was hurt.
Yeah, as of right now,
they don't give a fuck about no tight ends.
No, as of right now, Ian Thomas has not been a big part of our game plan. And dude, Ian Thomas is gonna be my version of your Cameron Artis-Payne. Like, why don't we fucking play this dude? He has a great catch radius, good talent. He's physical. Let the dude get some play time, man. And listen, it's Joe Brady's first year as the coordinator. I will say this: it takes time to cook, but I'm of the mindset that now that Christian is down, if you have to be inventive on offense now. So you're right, Tony. We do have to use Curtis Samuel in much more creative ways, like they did at Ohio State. We do have to involve our tight ends. And listen, especially if you're going to dink and dunk around the field with Teddy Bridgewater, well, throw it to Ian Thomas, a big jump ball receiver that can go and make a physical play on the football. I mean, you have to have that right now. And again, this is part of the reason where it's not looking good for us going forward. I'm ready to make my picks for this Sunday, man. I already think I know.
The freaking Puerto Rican is in the chat room. He said, "Don't you think the Lions might be looking for a QB? Stafford's not a young man."
Very possible.
Barry Barisha.
I think they will. I think they will, but I think that is a mistake because I do believe Matt Stafford has plenty of time left. I mean,
I think so
the
too.
problem is
he says the Lions are the biggest threat to us not getting Trevor, which.
Yeah,
I think that's probably. I'd agree with that.
I think the Jets are truly the biggest.
Yeah.
Well, how much longer is on Kirk Cousins' contract?
I think 1 more year.
Well, they just resigned or they extended him.
Did they? I didn't know that.
No,
okay.
Curtis, did they? I don't think they. I think he's still on his rookie contract.
Kirk Cousins?
No.
I thought you said Curtis Samuel. My bad.
No, yeah, I'm saying Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Well, listen,
I think they renegotiate. I think you're right.
That's the question that everyone's asking right now. If you're all these different teams, and you have the number 1 pick, right? If you're the Giants and you have the number 1 pick,
maybe we get Justin Fields. So fuck it.
Well, no, but I'm saying how many of these
Giants
football teams
cannot pass on
that have
Daniel
a quarterback?
They're not giving up. Dave Gettleman is too stubborn. He's too stubborn. And it would be foolish to give up on that high of a pick at this point when you have not given them offensive line.
This would be their what 3rd year in a row drafting with a top 5 pick. Do you know how much hell they will give that man for overdrafting Daniel Jones and then not drafting Trevor Lawrence if you had the chance at him?
They're not going to get a number 1. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next call. Let's push through the calls a little bit, and we'll continue to talk about this sprinkled in.
C3 fam, Panther Nation, y'all know who it is. Your boy Josh from Math. Bit more sober today. I still ain't apologizing for that cat call. What I said was the truth that everybody just going to swallow, hear, absorb, and let Jeff take. But that's the reality of the season, all right? Especially now that we know we're out without CMC for probably 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going to say the team's going to lean towards 6 weeks. Because then it's like, oh, we're being cautious. Are you being cautious, or are you just, turtle tank in here? Hey, turtle tank. I noticed, one of the talking heads there on Twitter, I think it was Jeremy Igo, pointed out that today that Teddy Bridgewater is like 5th overall or 6th overall in the league in passing yards. Like, I'm sorry, but if you take
I love that stat.
kind of statistic when our record is 0-2, you probably don't deserve a seat at the table in a conversation about the game of football. It's great that he's putting up yards, but they haven't translated into wins. You can go all the defense with the defense. You're not doing the defense any favors, young man, when you're throwing, 3 picks and a half of football. Or even 3 picks in a game of football. You can't do that. The man's on pace to have a 8 touchdown and 24 interception season.
Yep.
It's not acceptable to me, but extenuating circumstance here. I think we get CMC back just in time to start really getting put through the proverbial meat grinder. I think now that I've seen enough of this team at this point, I have seen enough. Most of us have seen enough to make realistic, honest predictions here. I'm realistically looking at this as being a 3 to maybe 5 win team. They can squeak a couple of them out.
Y'all generous.
But the Raiders is probably the most winnable game. And then people pointing at the Saints. The fact that the Raiders beat the Saints last night. Wouldn't chalk that up too much. I really just don't think it's going to matter in the grand scheme of us versus them or this division. It's going to be them or the Bucs to take the division, and we're going to be sitting somewhere at the bottom.
Dude, this NFC South is going to fuck around. We're going to win it.
You know what?
Maybe I'll see you in the chat tonight. If not, keep pounding, fans. Keep pounding. Oh, keep tanking. Keep tanking. That's right.
Josh from Mass, always bringing the heat. I will say this is that maybe I'm wrong in thinking that 3 is the top, but there are some teams that look vulnerable at this moment that are still on our schedule. The Lions, right, are vulnerable because they've got tons of players. They just are fucking shit, a dumpster fire when it comes to Matt Patricia. The Vikings right now, and the Broncos, Drew Lock went down. I think that hurts us a ton. But other than that, I can't see this. This is what we got next. We got the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Falcons. I don't think we can beat the Falcons. I'm sorry. I know they suck. But they put up like 40 points.
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't know how they're as bad. I love it. I fucking love it. How are the Falcons as bad as they are when they are good? Do you guys realize this? They are good and they fucking suck, which is awesome. But here, Cardinals.
Well, that's the plight of the Falcons, bro.
Yes.
The game Sunday was also disguised because they were up 24, 21-0 in the first quarter or whatever it was. And there were 3 big turnovers for Dallas that put them in good position. So
but
they didn't have
that's them.
Great drives.
That's them. All right, so we go. All right, so Chargers, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears. All right, so maybe.
By the way, the Bears are 2-0 after shitting themselves into a W somehow, some way.
Right. Saints. I don't think we can beat the Saints. I just don't. I know that they look vulnerable. I know you guys want to talk shit about Drew Brees, but I think their defense is good, even though maybe I'm wrong. Falcons again. The Chiefs, the Bucks, the Lions, okay, maybe. The Vikings, maybe. But, possibly, but you don't know. Broncos right now because of their quarterback, maybe. Packers, nope. Washington football team, have you seen their defensive front? No. Ron Rivera revenge game? Fuck nah, we're going to lose 10-7. Dude, we have 3 wins at the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you a question. I'm sorry. I want to ask a
go ahead,
question about the schedule real quick. Isn't it supposed to be set up where the teams that were really good last year have harder schedules the next season? Isn't that the way it's supposed to work? I thought they strengthened, but it never seems to work out like
schedules. That. The division winners get the hardest schedules.
But
but if you think about it, the reality is, like you say, the hardest schedule. There's only really 2 games that are considered a part of the hardest schedule. Like, because we're already predetermined whether which division we're facing out of the AFC and the NFC.
That's true. That's half the games, yeah.
Explain.
So, I mean, there's only 2 real games that they're talking about.
Yeah, because we play our division, and then we play the whole division plays another division.
Six of our 16 games are already predetermined, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to be NFC South games. That's going to be a home and away. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to play. So this year we're playing the AFC West, which is why we play the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And everybody in the South has to play those teams, not just one of everybody in the NFC South has to play those teams.
How many games does that put you at?
That's 10 right there. Games, and then you play one of the same NFC East teams or one of the NFC division rivals or divisions as well. So, like, for instance, this year, I believe it's not the NFC East. Is it the Bears?
It's the NFC North.
Bears and
right?
the
NFC
Lions,
North, because it's Green Bay, Lions.
Yeah, we played that whole division.
Those Vikings,
we played
those
the
guys.
Bears, the Lions, the Packers.
And that's 14 games. That means there's 2 games left that are just up in the air. They're kind of wild cards. And our game is the Redskins, and there's some other team that is one of our 2. So that's why we had a poor schedule. We're playing the Redskins because it's an easy schedule.
No, it can't be.
So there's really the only difference in anybody's team.
Maybe
like
home
if you're
and away, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the home and away aspect of it. Yeah, but outside of that, it is literally two teams. That's it. That is different than any of the other people in your division. Right. So we all play the exact same teams except for 2, and that's it. So to say that. That's what they talk about. Like if you're a number 1, if you win the Super Bowl, you're going to have a harder schedule. Yeah, really. I mean, it depends upon what division you're in, and then outside of that,
it's those home games. It's got.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. I'm looking at the schedule right now, so let's just do that 4 to 6 week timetable that we don't have Christian, right? So
Cody always brings the heat, bro.
So, dude,
you're our best player.
All right. So if it's 4 weeks, then we're not gonna. Then the earliest that we could have him back is the New Orleans Saints. If it's 6 weeks, the earliest we can get him back is Kansas City. Okay,
I
so
say
hang on.
Hold this bitch out.
Wait, so hold on. So look. So let's go all the way up until Kansas City. Let's assume that we're missing Christian McCaffrey
for 6 weeks
for the next 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Do we think this Chargers game is winnable?
Nope.
No. Do we think this Cardinals game is winnable?
No.
Hell
no, dude. All right, the Falcons are the Falcons. So until they're not the Falcons,
say we're a trap for a team. Is we're a trap for either maybe the Chargers, the Cardinals, or the Bears. I don't know.
The Bears are the only winnable.
Yeah.
No, not the Cardinals. I think the
is there
the Falcons,
I'm actually kind of
find a way to fuck it up.
The Chargers. Right
DeAndre Hopkins is going to have 250 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, it'll be brutal.
It's going to be insane.
I can't wait.
Dude, no. How about this? No, how about this? Kyler Murray is going to rush for over 200 yards.
Dude,
Kyler Murray. I don't know if you guys have seen.
That's a loss. Whatever. What am I talking about? It is a home game, which does not matter in this world.
Right.
No, it doesn't matter at all in this world. And like I said, Atlanta, because they're always Atlanta.
I don't think we can beat Atlanta,
never trust
man.
them.
Yeah, I think
no, I don't think so either. But you can never trust Atlanta.
No, right.
You can never trust
but
Atlanta.
I think that's where they're at right now. Is like it's the typical Atlanta thing. But if Calvin Ridley, all these dudes have been putting up monster numbers. How are we going to stop it?
Right,
yeah,
but
they blew us out last year twice, right?
Our defensive backfield is a problem, but let's continue with what we were doing, though. So, do any of us think that we're going to beat the Falcons
early?
Do any of us think that we have a chance to beat the Falcons?
Nope.
All right, now say nope. I say maybe. Okay, maybe. How about the Bears?
Yes, we have a chance against them.
I think we have a chance. Saints, no.
I'm actually going to say no. You know why? It's because fucking Matt
say no to who?
Quinn,
to who?
The Bears. Mac and
Bears?
Quinn?
Yeah, they got a nasty defense.
I don't know. I mean, all right, so I'll give you a maybe, but it is home, which doesn't matter. I don't think the Bears. I don't think we're favorites in that game. Are we favorites in that game? Nope.
No, absolutely not. I'm just saying there's a chance that we beat them.
Yeah.
Like there's a chance that
I
something.
that. I think you're right.
There's a chance that Trubisky runs in and he throws 4 interceptions, and all of a sudden we're just, running the clock out with Mike Davis in the backfield. Like that's the scenario. But
then they would come back. They would come back in the fourth quarter to beat us, like they've been doing the past 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, listen, you're looking at a scenario where we could very easily be 1-7, 2-6 by the time that Christian comes back. I mean, at that point in time, what do you?
And then read the schedule after that. Then you gotta go Chiefs, Bucks. All right, Lions, Vikings. That double Lions, Vikings, Broncos is a good run. If we win 3 games, look, Greg, just go ahead and send me the check.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost that one. I'm giving that one up. I actually would almost be willing to put some money down right now, saying that we might go winless. Like that's just a crazy bet. I wonder what the odds are for that.
Will you take a $10 bet to make it up under 2?
That's the problem. I don't want to bet.
I want to look at the odds
because I don't want to be
right.
right.
Next call. Let's power through the next call. Let's power through the next call. I want to do the Cam interview.
Hey guys, Kyle from VA, and we're going to talk about Cam Newton because. Because, I mean, fuck, look at his performance on Sunday night. Man, everyone who said, all these analysts and all these other people just hate Cam Newton because it's Cam Newton for whatever reason, said, well, Cam Newton ain't got the arm to throw the ball downfield anymore, the 2 shoulder surgeries, the foot injury. Cam Newton's not the Cam Newton he was before. Are the same fucking people the next morning talking about, this is 2015 MVP Cam. Like, we've been fucking telling y'all, you don't give up on Cam. Which, obviously, we did. But, fuck out of here. We got him a billboard and everything. But, it doesn't matter, I guess. Fuck us. But, yeah, man, I mean, Cam was out there fucking slinging the goddamn ball. So much zip behind it. Fitting in tight pockets.
Look at that pass.
Throwing the ball downfield. I mean, it was amazing to watch, and right there at the end, man, it was like I was watching the Panthers game. I was so nervous and excited, but even though he lost, fuck, that was just amazing. I'm so proud of Cam. I'm so happy for him to see that he's come back. With that one performance right there, Cam Newton has made us look like the second dumbest team in the league, only behind the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to get to that in a second, but and I'm not one of these people that hate on Teddy Bridgewater either, but Teddy could never do what Cam Newton did. No. It was just
never.
It was amazing to see Cam back in Cam form, man. The Panthers have lit a fire under this man's ass, and he is going to make them eat it every week. Talk about the Falcons for a second. No one can blow a lead like that sorry-ass team right there. And this is why they're the dumbest team. Not because they blew the lead, but somebody might want to tell a pro football team that if you're receiving the kick, you can jump on the ball before, before it crosses 10 yards or whatever.
You don't have to just
you
look
can
at
jump
it.
on it. You had a team captain standing right there looking at the fucking football. How stupid can you be? Anyway, guys, I'm about to run out of time. Might call back, but keep pounding.
Man, that's a call of the night right there. So
pounding.
far, that's the
I like
call
it.
of the night right
I like
there. Is we've got the Cam highlights playing on the video right now. It's nasty. And the thing that was great about the offside shit is Dan Quinn trying to talk about how his team knows how to do it. They just didn't do it. He's like, we know the rule. Like, stupid. All right, I want to bring this up. I mean, obviously, we got to turn to this. And you're lucky, turn the pagers. You're lucky we didn't spend the whole night talking about this. But Sunday night, I sat here in my office alone, like in my little cave, right, where I park, I got my computer, I'm watching it on my computer and stuff like that. And I'm watching it intently. I'm watching it like it was a Panthers game. Again, New England goes to face the Seahawks. And the Seahawks, and immediately, and I got to say this, is I hate them. I hate Russell Wilson. I don't like him. Another NC State dude that transferred away. I just don't like him because of other reasons. And because what he did to the Panthers. I always say he's throw it up for a prayer and Jesus answers it, Russell Wilson. But he's fucking insanely good.
He's incredible, dude. He's been
so
one
good.
of the best quarterbacks.
No, he is.
Of the
I think
decade.
he's the best. I think he's the best.
He's
it's
awesome.
insane.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
So,
and by the way, no, go ahead.
But Cam has to go in. They got to go in there off of a week where they ran the ball basically like 70 times. And you're thinking, all right, you got to go on the road. You got to face these dudes who are dealing. It's going to be hard for the Patriots to play that same game plan unless they're ahead. The Patriots win the coin toss and then defer. I was like, what? I thought they would want the ball, get ahead, stay ahead, type mentality. Russell throws a pick. Greg Olsen bounces off Greg Olsen's hands. It was uncharacteristic of Greg Olsen, but also if Cam would have thrown that pass, they would have said high and behind. But no, they said perfect pass for Russell Wilson. Anyway, Russell was dealing, dude. He was dealing. But then Cam just comes out and fucking – and I was wondering, could this happen? I need to see it. I saw Cam that was one of Cam's best games of his career in the pros. Just period. And arguably the best passing game of his career.
Real quick, you were talking about Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. Do you know that this year he has 9 touchdowns and 11 incomplete passes?
It's fucking
2 games.
Stupid. It's stupid.
9 touchdowns and 11 incomplete passes. That's insane.
He's incredible, man. He's absolutely.
By the way,
absolutely
against a New England secondary that is considered to be one of the best in the NFL.
5
fairness, though,
and dude, how about
they are living
that?
a little off a reputation because they had so many COVID opt-outs.
But he was throwing at Stephon Gilmore too.
Exactly.
He was throwing at their
Which
best
might
corner.
be a DK Metcalf story, to be honest. That dude's a fucking monster.
DK Metcalf, it would have been the perfect receiver pick for a prime Cam Newton.
Oh my goodness.
That would
Carolina
have been
Panthers,
the best.
and fuck all the
ever.
stupid draft people who say he couldn't run every route. Fuck them.
Yeah.
These
And
motherfuckers
listen,
out
man.
there dealing, homie. All right. But Cam,
But hold on,
is there a
wait,
better
one thing.
passing game than that? Is there a better
But wait.
passing game in Cam's career?
Can I say this? You're already saying that was his best. That was his best performance so far
Best
as
passing
a quarterback. But I don't know, man. I seem to remember some times here in Carolina where he went off dropping dimes.
I don't remember him putting
Remember down 17 a few years ago
Yeah,
to Philly?
he didn't. He put up over 307. I don't know if he ever threw three. He
Is
never
this
had
just from a
400
yard
yards. I know he
perspective?
did not have 400. He's not had 400 yards yet as in his career in a game.
Yeah, his first game was 400-yarder, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, first two games, I believe,
All
for
right,
400 yarders.
I'm gonna look it up. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
You're the stat
Yeah,
guy,
man.
you
But
look it up.
listen, the Christian McCaffrey's healthy. I mean, not McCaffrey. Cam Newton's healthy. He is healthy now. He needed time to get healthy. This would have been the perfect comeback year for him. But like I said, man, as much as it hates me, or as I hate to say it, as much as it pains my heart, man, Cam Newton going to the Patriots is the best thing that could have happened. Tony's getting ready to play these some press conference.
I've played him twice already.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I didn't hear him.
What?
But,
no, I thought you meant the highlights.
Highlights,
Sorry.
yeah.
I thought
No,
you were talking about
the
my
press
bad. That was on me.
conference. It's let me just say this before you play him. Cam Newton, you can tell when someone has a lot on their mind and their soul. And there have been press conferences here in Carolina where you could tell that Cam Newton was biting his tongue, not saying things might have had a plethora of things going on outside of football. But when you hear this man talk, man, he sounds confident, comfortable, relaxed, sure of himself, gives incredible answers. I mean, this is the best thing that ever could have happened to Cam Newton. It's like, if you love him, let him go. And that's kind of what it is now. It's like our old loved one. They're in a better relationship with a good partner that's going to take care of them. And I'm happy for Cam Newton, even though it hurts to watch him score touchdowns for another team. And we have to talk about that final play at some point. We have to talk about it.
Let's play a little bit of the interview. Actually, we're going to have to play the whole interview. I'm sorry, it's so good.
The quarterback of the New England Patriots, Cam Newton. Morning, Cam.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Actually, just real quick, I wanted to know if you are familiar with the career of Jermaine Wiggins, who you speak to on this show. Do you know anything about Wiggy's career with the Patriots?
I do believe that he was a living legend and played right in here.
All right.
Okay. And a local legend at that as well. So
there you go. And I'm a bulldog, so he's a tiger. So we kind of collide a little bit on that one.
Let's just say we got common enemies. That makes us even closer.
There you go.
Cam, do you look at Sunday's game as a positive, even though you guys came up short?
I mean, that's a trick question for me, man, because obviously there's history with losing, and it doesn't change. And, people, the outpour of, this, that, and the third of the performance. I played this game for one reason and one reason only, and make no mistake about it. So as far as my expectations, we played a good team in Seattle, but at the end of the day, we had our opportunity to win a football game and we did. And I just know who I am. I'm not surprised by the performance. And, just moving forward, we just have to find ways to win because we don't want to look back week 12 and we're in a battle or something. You don't know what week 12 is going to look like. So therefore, we've got to capitalize every opportunity that we get.
Well, obviously a lot of talk about that play call at the end of the game. If you had to do that over, would you run the same play?
The same damn play. Listen, we ran the play 4 times, and it's not my job to go back and forth with what coach decides. It's my job to execute what coach decides. Simple and plain. And for me, we ran the play 4 times, and we were successful 3 of those 4 times. And the 4th time was obviously the last play. But yet, through it all, that's championship caliber football, and we just have to be better. I have to be better. And there's an opportunity when I look back at the film, I could have bounced it, and it would have been a walk-in. But yet, through it all, we know scrutiny. I know scrutiny would have came. Doesn't matter what the play call would have been. Let's be honest. If I would have handed the ball off, sure, it would have been, scrutiny. If I would have dropped back the pass, well, you can't do that. We're on the 1-yard line. Just run it in with, Either way it would have went, you would have had scrutiny. And it's just up to us as players, me specifically, to just do a better job of executing and putting this team in the best situation to win.
All right, so pause there. Quick talk about the call itself. It's perfect time there. Look at how relaxed and calm sound. Is that not a relaxed Cam?
Yeah, he sounded very, very comfortable. Yeah,
it sounds. And just to let you guys know, he's in one of the more scrutinizing media markets. Now he is coming off of 2 good performances, right? It's easy to be relaxed when but he's coming off a loss. He's still coming off a loss. He's replacing Tom Brady. The idea that he sounds more relaxed in that environment versus where he was in Carolina, to me, is fucking unbearable to me. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know if he could have ever been that way here. It's almost like him going and doing. It's like shedding a skin, like a caterpillar maybe. I don't know if it's what we did to him, but it's clear and it's audible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you also look at it from this perspective. He signed a contract that was only $1 million, right? He's coming in with a lot of people had very low expectations for what he was able to do, right? Because they think he's already washed up. He's at the end of his career. There's no point, right? So he's got a little bit lower of an expectation on his shoulder. So he's not got the world at his heels, right? If he does bad, that's just expected, right? But if he does good, it's just like, told you so. Right. So there's this level of like when he was in Carolina, he was the number 1 draft pick. He was the MVP. He had to carry the team on his shoulders with no real proof that our coach was able to actually coach well, outside of a few, riverboat Ron experiences that put him in a position where people thought he was the greatest coach of all time. There's so many things that you look at that you realize like maybe it's not even a matter of
there's so much pressure taken off of him in a strange way where you think there would be more pressure.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where I think it is like, yes, you might be in a media market where you could be murdered, right? Like just by the media. It's just not a great situation to be in. But because Boston, I mean, let's be honest. How many people think Bostons are the most polite people in the world? They're not. They're just one of the, they're unfortunately just ones that expect great things because they've been accustomed to it for so long in their I guess fandom, with the Patriots over the past 20 years. So, but outside of that, everybody was expecting him to not do well. And so to come in and be able to do this, I think that pressure is off of his shoulders. He can just come in and play football, and that's it.
Yeah, and by the way, I wanted to highlight something real quick. Cam Newton did enough to win that football game.
Yes.
So 2 things. Julian Edelman dropped a pass in the end zone. Like it literally went right through homeboy's hands.
But he did put Cam fire on it and was a little high, and Cam even fell on the sword.
I know. You're ahead of me. Let me finish. You're ahead of me. Because he went on to say, again, he does what he always did. Even though I put that on Julian Edelman, I don't care how fast he threw that ball. I don't care how high it was. If you get your hands on the football, come down with the fucking football. But vintage Cam Newton, when they ask him about it, he says, it came in with a lot of heat. It was high. It could have been a better ball. Cam Newton doing what he always does, putting the blame on himself, being the leader, putting it on him, knowing everything starts with 1. And yet, again, it's like now, another part of the reason I'm so happy for him is now because the media covers the Patriots so much, now the world at large might finally get a chance to know the Cam Newton that we've been in love with for the past 9 years.
Right.
And the kind of dedication to his craft that he actually shows and exemplifies all the time.
All right.
I 100% agree.
Joey, the blind Panther fan, has to go to bed and wants to hear his own call and our reaction. So let's go ahead and get to his call, and then we'll come back to Cam's interview.
Hey, guys. It's Joey again. You know what? The more I think of
this is the first one I got.
Season, the way it's going to go, I look at the way that teams were going to be playing. I look at the way they've been playing. The Chargers, they're going to kill us, man. Their offense is great. Our defense sucks. Their defense is great, and our offense is just meh. So, the only way we win that game is if the Chargers charger, which could happen, but...
You mean if the Chargers Phil Rivers?
We're not winning team material, so...
Exactly.
Week 4 against the Cardinals, Teddy's going to look good. But Kyler Murray is going to kill our defense. Week 5, I think it's the Bears. I think Week 5 is the Bears. And, it's Trubisky, but he'll look good because our defense sucks. I don't know who we play Week 6 or 7, but the Falcons will get right against us. No, Week 5 is the Falcons. Yeah, Week 5 is the Falcons. I don't know when we play the Bears. They'll get right against us because they suck so bad that they blew, they're apparently a lead in football as a cheap type of glass. and apparently it could still be hand blown because Atlanta's known for their lead blowing industry. I mean, they're very good at it.
I don't know if that's sexual or
But
not.
they'll get right against us, and like they'll have all the talking heads saying Dan Quinn saved his job. I don't see a game we could win. I mean, maybe the Broncos, but nah, man. So, yeah, Cody, if I may join you in the tank and the on the Trevor train, I'd be glad to do so, man.
Right,
Come on in.
He's got one more in the hole. Let's see what he's got. And he's got
Hey guys, Joey again. Basically, I might have got. I think I got cut off, but basically, what I was saying is, I don't see any game we're gonna win because, yeah, we suck. But this call, though, I have to ask a certain member of C3 Nation, although he's on the fringes. You know, when he calls, he talks like he doesn't agree with a thing we say. But Brendan Herbert needs to come clean on why he has such a deep-seated hatred for James Bradbury. Like, does anybody ever wonder that? I mean, I always wonder. I mean, did he take his
by the way, we need to
girlfriend
talk about him earning Defensive
do
Player of the
something to
Week.
him on the highway? Like, what happened, brother? Come clean. You could say it. This is the couch, bro. We want to know. I kind of wish we had him, to be honest with you, because he would have covered Evans. I mean, if he's good for nothing, he's good. If he's good for nothing else, he's great for that.
If you don't end this call with a round,
But
I'd be
he's
pissed.
pretty good for the Giants. I'm like,
Come
and
on.
I've always wondered that.
I really will.
That needs to be
Like Joey's gonna disagree.
addressed for everyone to hear. Anyway, guys, you know how it goes. Wow.
All right. So, all right. Just your point is
I love it.
is that I think I can speak for Justin, for Brother Herbert on this. Is that Bradbury is up and he's been up and down. He was put in a lot of hard positions early as a rookie. He came out as a small school. We made him start right away with nobody else on the other side. We made him learn. It was unfair what we did to him. So he actually has been good. Better than good at times, but then at times he has made some boneheaded plays, i.e. the Pittsburgh game that everything went to shit when Cam got hurt and all of that. If you remember, he's the one that got just toasted by Juju
On that first play there. Drive,
yeah,
yep.
so there's some things to say that, like, hey, he's not like a shutdown man-to-man corner, and I think that those things have been reasonable, but he has played well a lot, and then he goes to the Giants, and in week 1 he fucking is fantastic, and CK hit him up. What happened in week 2?
Against the, what are you talking about? What season?
James Bradbury this past week.
Oh yeah. He just destroyed. He got the Defensive Player of the Week. He had multiple interceptions. I mean, he just wasn't beaten. Like he covered very well. Like he looked like a starting corner. He looked like a guy who earned the money that he was given, and that he should have been given an opportunity here.
Tweet of the week goes to Rich Kingston. I should have pulled it for the tonight's show. He said, "Oh man, basically, he referenced that we could have signed James Bradbury and extended him and drafted C.J. Henderson. Both of these guys ranked by Pro Football Focus this week as the top 2 corners." Right. And so, yeah, I don't know. Brother Herbert is absent, obviously, at this point. I do want to go back. Let's jump back to the Cam interview. All right.
The quarterback of the New England Patriots, Cam Newton.
Go ahead, Greg, while I cue it up to the spot.
Okay, I was just going to say, actually, I got to get up early. I got
All right.
to.
So
out, I did want to point out Cam Newton first 2 games, 422 yards, 432 yards, first 2 in the career. And can I give my sub pick before I get out of here?
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Do it.
Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can bet now. And I know like in-game betting is a thing that maybe it's new to me. I don't know how new it is to anybody else, but it's new to me, like learning about in-game betting. And I'm icing up this guy who put $35,000 down that the Falcons were going to win with 7 minutes left, up 15 points. The payout for putting $35,000 down was $1,050. So you're going to bet $35,000 for $1,050. Now, the Cowboys ended up winning, so he lost $35,000. Had he put money on the Cowboys, he would have won $1.1 million. So this guy put up $35,000 to win $1,000. To me, that's insane. I mean, that's like people who buy stock real quick, like quick sellers, like buy real quick, turn it, flip it real quick. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I've never had money like that to play around with. But to that guy and to the Falcons, I'll throw him in there too. I got to say, ice up, man. Like you deserve to lose that money. So
agree with
right,
you, Greg. Have a good night. All right, let's keep going just a little bit. We'll try to speed through it a little bit because we don't need the whole thing.
Catchable for him and his expectations, but
this
came
is Cam
in with
under
a
the
lot
bus
that
here.
I don't necessarily care about or don't mind. And when people see you do certain things that they say you couldn't do.
All right, so this is Cam right here talking about his throwing the pass and the ball coming out of Carolina. People said he's done.
Obviously, because of other circumstances that I don't necessarily care about or don't mind. And when people see you do certain things that they say you couldn't do, it becomes a shocker. But for me, I play this game and I prepare for this game probably like no other player, because I have to have the endurance like a wide receiver. I have to have the physical toughness as a running back, and just the intuitiveness and the being cerebral like a quarterback. So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a quarterback. I more or less call myself a football player that just so happens to play quarterback. And when people see that, it's foreign to them, and especially the way that and how I run and play the football. So I've been playing like this for years, and just having the opportunity to throw it as much, I just got to do a better job of protecting the football. And as long as I do that, I know that coach, will entrust in.
All right, just quick comments, guys, on tell me about what you thought about Cam's prep when he says, I'm basically everything. And he said it in a not dick way. Like,
the one thing I thought that like his quarterbacks and his running backs could say is like he has to be cerebral and intelligent, like the other guys aren't smart. But like I get what he's saying, but like that's my first thought.
That was actually a nod to this, is that, and I like the use of the word there, because so often the implicit racial biases that have come with black quarterbacks is that you always say he's a great athlete. Yeah, he's got he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete. He's a great athlete. And then you say shit like this is like, well, Drew Brees is like a real student of the game. Those are largely implicit bias. And so what he's saying is I'm an athlete and a quarterback. But I like Cam though. Is just saying this is that like, bitches, you ain't ever seen nothing like me, Mug.
And he's not wrong too. I mean, if you notice,
that's exactly right.
If you've noticed, he is their goal line offense. Like just like he was here.
He was our goal line offense, and we didn't even get to mention it about the play call. Did we even talk about the play call before Joey?
No, I thought it was a bad play call. I think they got too cute trying to pull guards.
It's
and
not
do
even
a
cute.
Pull.
Oh yeah. Right. Explain why you think it was too cute.
Yeah, I'm saying, dude, line up full max protection, get two extra blockers on both sides,
and just let them jump over. Let them do the old
yes. Let him do the super. Dude, there were 2 seconds left on the clock. Let him do super cam, literally for the W, for the win. Let him go over the top.
You know what they should have done that worked every time, and it worked earlier in the game. Well, they didn't do that. They did the fake run to fullback pass. They should have done the fake run to bootleg at the end.
which we've done a time or two here in Carolina with him and the great Greg Olsen. By the way, did you see that before the game when Cam Newton runs on the field and you see Greg Olsen out there like warming up, and he just runs up to him and hugs him
because they love each other and they're wonderful.
I
and I tell you,
know.
that tells you something. And this is where I knew that Cam wasn't ever a fucking problem. Is that the players love him.
Yeah, I mean, you have players that aren't even on the team anymore that said it would be the biggest mistake Carolina ever made if they let him walk out.
Yeah. Why would Greg Olsen be so... Yeah, it's understandable why he's daunting the uniform.
Let's also keep in mind, it's not even just players that have been on the team. It's players on other teams that are saying that. Like, if you let him go, it'll be the biggest mistake.
That's wonderful. All right, let's see what else he's got to say. There's a couple more points in here we got to get to, and we got to get out of here.
And just like Sunday, he called something. I didn't get it done, so, therefore...
All right, this is talking about a play call.
Cam, now, I've been a lifelong fan of this Pats team since I could walk, and one of the things as a player, I always felt like I was a guy who was underpaid. And I know you have your documentary coming out, 86 Days, and, there's a list of quarterbacks out there, like guys like Andy Dalton, Blaine Gabbert, Marcus Mariota, Nathan Peterman, that when you look at them, they make more money than you. And I know as a player who was in a role before of not getting what I feel like I deserve, what type of motivation does that make you have? Because I'm your number one fan when it talks to getting you an extension. So if you need an agent, I'm a guy that you need to have on your team, and I truly believe this team should do that.
Yeah.
But how do you feel as a player when you look around the league and you see guys, making a lot more than you, when you look at your production versus their production?
That's surprisingly but true and factual enough. If I do what I'm supposed to do, as I'm expecting to, that will not even be a topic of discussion here moving forward. And that's, like I said, you're talking to a person who, money at this particular point in my career is not important, right? And let's be honest. Like, I've made money, but for everything that I play this game for, I haven't received yet. And that's why I'm playing. So it's not about money; it's about respect. And when you and especially going back to the negotiation table, when this opportunity presented itself, I didn't want to even keep going back and forth, for this and that and that. I said, listen, let's get the deal done. Let's do it. And for all this worth, it's just going to pay dividends moving forward. And I do believe this. Wise man once said that, and that wise man is my father. All blessings do not come in financial, means. Just because, you have money and do that, blessings comes in many different forms than that, financial compensation. So, for me, if I do what I'm supposed to do, everything else will take care of itself.
Speaking of that,
All right. Thoughts on that? Other than, this is what... Is there... There has been this narrative that has continued to surround the parting of Cam Newton regarding his contract status. I think it's been bogus and bullshit, right? And that is Cam's team wanted more an extension before this year. I don't think there's been any evidence, or I think that's almost like a leak by the team or something. I have not seen any corroborating evidence for that, other than speculation. But then I have heard something, and I will give more credit to this, and that is, well, what if Cam comes back, he's pretty good, or even very, very good, which I think this is a flawed argument, and then you're worried about his long-term health, and you got to sign him. I think that's the most ridiculous argument, actually, I've ever heard. It's so you're trying to tell me the worst-case scenario is he's good, and you have to choose between franchise tagging him or not re-signing him? I didn't understand that. Cam right here comes out and says, I'm putting my fucking money where my mouth is. And he's going to earn it. This mug's about to go. He's about to be a Patriot, and they're about to win 5 Super Bowls.
You know what, man? I love it. Like I said, I love it for Cam. But you also hear the tone of the reporters. Like, they want so bad to be his friend. Like, he's that one guy in school that everybody likes, everybody wants to be his friend. And also considering that you've had years of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just being a snooze fest at the podium, and now you have Cam Newton up there spitting hot gold.
Tom comes on. I actually, I do want to bring this up. I think this shows a failure of Charlotte media. A complete failure of Charlotte media. And look, I'm a big fan of the WFNZ crowd. Like, I like them. Like, I don't want to say that these guys aren't doing their good job or whatever. But why are we not getting weekly meetings with our quarterback?
That's what I wonder. But I wonder if it's contractual. Like, I wonder if they obligate that, like, as a team. I wonder if there's some sort of a fine.
But like, no wonder we're small market.
Yeah.
There's no fucking media to talk about. Like, Teddy Bridgewater, do you think that these guys, what if they would have started out 0-2? You think these motherfuckers would have been nice to Cam on the radio? I mean, that might not have been mean, but he would have had to go up there. I've heard Tom Brady go on Westwood 1 every Monday night. He goes and talks every Monday. He still does it. Where is the availability from the Panthers on this, the player availability? Like, Teddy Bridgewater should be fucking on WFNZ every Monday. They're doing it in Boston, and you can say they have a bigger market and they can make more money and they can do this. Well, you want to be a bigger market, get the fucking real shit.
Yeah.
True that, man. I've been saying that with our fans. I've been saying that with the media. We're not loud enough. We're not passionate enough. That's fine if people get mad at me for my takes and saying that. But hey, listen, again, that's why I say what we do is better and just as good as any other content that you're going to get surrounding the Carolina Panthers, because we're going to give you the energy that is missing in this fan base, man. That type of passion towards this team not being a perpetual dumpster fire that we should want and aspire and genuinely push to be a legitimate football team. Like, we got that taste on the tip of our tongue in 2015. Like, yes, we might be a force in the NFL with what we're building. Just to have it ripped out from under us and for us to perpetuate that same mediocrity, man. It's we have to move on. We have to do better, and it takes a team that knows that and is willing to double down on that same commitment to greatness.
Here's the challenge to the fucking Panthers: is y'all tried out Teddy Bridgewater, Matt Rhule, Joe Brady. I don't even give a fuck if it's the special teams captain to us each week. Come on. Don't be a bitch. Sorry, that's probably not the way to get it. That's probably not
I
the
do
way
feel
to
like I feel like
Sorry.
this is the best forum to be able to like have your players come on and be honest. Like, right? I mean, just to be able to talk openly. And the problem is I think the players don't want to face the reality of they would rather have those sugar-coated like questions and things that aren't going to be about like the worst things it could possibly be about. And, you know, we might ask those things, or they might come and look at the comments and see they're being shit on by the fans because nobody likes them, you know? And so I think that's where you're going to have a little bit of a hesitation for players to come onto the podcast. But for the most part, I feel like this is the best opportunity for them to kind of come on and tell us what they actually are about and why we should care about them, why we should be fighting for them, why we should take out a billboard telling them the Panthers to keep this person in Carolina. You know, there's so many things that I think a podcast like this can provide, because it's not just pre-negotiated questions.
It's not even just us. I would say this, CK, when you first got started streaming, you were trying to hit the sweet spot of stream times, this and that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, I told you this, is that just stream.
Yeah.
Just stream. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in a way, is that certainly, is it the most ideal? No, it's not. But here's the thing, is the Panthers kind of stream. They need to be more available to the market. And if Cam Newton is getting up there, brand new quarterback, sounding that relaxed on a big-time market, not right. And we haven't heard him in our market like that for fucking 10 years. It's just a travesty.
Early
Here, just
on,
a couple more minutes.
In the process, did you and Bill start talking?
Just happened. And you can kind of see how he was able to sustain
pause
success
it
for so
real
many
quick.
years.
Let me go ahead and get up my ice up pick because I do gotta jump out of here too.
Let's go ahead and end the show. That's enough. First of all, the Cam Newton fucking performance was fantastic.
Yes, it was incredible.
All right,
and again, I hope they do right by my man Cam and realize what kind of potential and power he has, and that they give him a fat new contract that he's deserving of. But listen, mine's really short and simple and to the point. I'm icing up the NFL over the course of the past weekend against Vic Fangio, against Kyle Shanahan, and against Pete Carroll. Each of them were fined $100,000 for not having their mask up on the broadcast of the game. And then not only that, but their teams got fined $250,000. So basically, a group of people who have all been tested for COVID more than any other group of people in America are all in the same bubble. They're all in the same stadium, yet they're being fined for optics. Like they're virtue signaling at this point.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
It's
100%
just like their whole
virtue
Black
signal.
Lives Matters campaign is. It's just virtue.
It's vapid. It's vapid.
And
That's
listen,
what it is.
what kind of sense goes into this? Listen, if you haven't figured out how to navigate a pandemic by now, you're not going to learn how to do it watching a fucking football game. Like, that's not how it works. If you're one of these people that you see online going into Walmart shouting about wearing masks, those people aren't going to watch Thursday Night Football and then realize, oh, yeah, maybe that's what I should be doing because Bill Belichick's doing it. It's the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's pandering. And it's like showing how stupid they believe the American populace to be. And, maybe we deserve it. Maybe we are that stupid. I don't know. But it's like every time I see it, I feel my IQ points drop an extra 15. It's so dumb. To all the Corona bros still raging about this, freaking out over it, man. Listen, I don't know what to say. To the NFL, you're not actually helping the pandemic by fining your best coaches and the teams they represent. It's dumb as hell. So I'm icing up the NFL. Icing up Project Adele. That's stupid. Ice up, son.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna ice you up for having to leave early because I got some badass ice up picks. But thank you, Cody Lashney. Find him. You can Google the Cripple Connection podcast and at Cody Lash. CK, we got to get out of here, obviously.
And hit me up on Twitter, Cody Lax, CODYLAC.
Oh, he's still there. I thought he was gone. All right, we got to get out of here because our own members are like, shut the fuck up.
They're just get out of here. Yeah, there's
Right.
so this is done.
Do you have an
It's
ice
over.
up pick? Because I got some good ones tonight, and they are missing it.
I kind of want to hear yours. To
Okay,
be fair,
all right, I'm ready. Like I even got them prepared. Here, if I can find this, let's see. Make sure. Gotta make sure I gotta make your window a little smaller. Ooh, there's double windows here. I thought it was prepared. Let's see if I got this.
A high-speed chase. Step out of the car! And guns drawn in residential Enid. All starting with a traffic stop. At the wheel, this woman, Emily Owings, initially pulled over for not wearing her seatbelt. The only form of identification, her medical marijuana card.
Your license is suspended?
Why?
I don't know. And now I'm waiting to see if you have warrants through Woods County and.
Poop so bad.
What do you think I'm going?
I gotta poop so bad.
It's my birthday. A bizarre excuse and her 28th birthday, not the only problem she's dealing with. Police say she wasn't supposed to be behind the wheel in the first place. A warrant out for her arrest in Winoka, allegedly fighting an officer. Why did you just let me go?
Because I know your license is suspended.
Sorry, This Enid officer calling for backup.
You have warrants through Woods County, and they're coming to get you.
No, they're not.
Ma'am.
So she drives
Sparking a
off.
pursuit, topping 70
She says,
miles per hour,
"Fuck y'all,
blowing
I
through
gotta
stop
drive
signs and a school zone. Eventually stopping.
Get out of the vehicle now!
Arrested, off to jail, and her charges upgraded.
Get out of poop in your car, man.
Get out poop in your car.
Yeah, not pooping.
Get in the car.
Police searching Owings' car and finding a pipe, and inside of it, meth. In Enid, Peyton Yeager, Oklahoma's News 4.
All right, so sorry, this Emily in Oklahoma who gets pulled over, shows her medical marijuana card as her license, suspended license, says she's got to poop. Turns out she's got warrants. Then she says, "You can't arrest me," turns the engine over, zoom, and says, "Fuck y'all." First of all, if she was black, they would have shot her. Clear.
Oh gosh, man.
No.
Here's the funny thing I'll say. That newscaster in the car, a pipe. Inside the pipe, meth.
That's my favorite part. And it's like, and big surprise, in a pipe full of meth.
It's meth. It's
All right,
meth.
So that's my first ice up pick. And the only reason that one, I've got two, because the second one, let me share, turn that one off. This was my first one. All right. And this is Nancy Pelosi. And in fairness, she probably got her earbuds a little crossed. But this is Nancy Pelosi on like one of the news stations with the guy that's on Good Morning America. Oh, wait. Hold on. Why is it not talking? Hold on. Shit. No sound? Hold on. I got to get the fuck. Why is it not playing? Oh my God. Can't do this to me. Cam. Hold on. One more time. We'll see. It worked earlier. I tested it too. Oh, it's not working. Oh my gosh. I got to play it some other way. Hold on. Nancy Pelosi. I know it's in my quick access. Here it goes. Where's my VLC? Come here.
On Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Let's see if I can do this.
Good morning. It's Sunday morning.
Here it goes.
On Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
First of all, ice up to all these the shit and the. First of all, you know what's best about all this crap is the comments. It's always the comments.
Oh, dude, yeah, internet's undefeated.
And it was like powering down, rebooting, BIOS defect, like, and it was like because she looks at Russia, and so my comment,
she's so hot.
What my comment is this is number 5 is alive. If you watch Short Circuit, that would make sense. But it's like you got to get these baby boomers out of this motherfucker. Ice up to the baby boomers and people who are on meth trying to poop in your car.
Poop in the car, bro. My guys.
All right. If you don't got it, all right. So what's your ice up? You don't got one?
No, man, I don't have anything.
All right. This is the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Really, we're just the C3 Panthers podcast now. We're on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. We're here every Tuesday night.
You know, I do have one.
Nice.
Who was the guy who called our game?
Mark Schlereth.
Yeah, that dude. Ice up, dude. You're the most ridiculous caller I've ever heard in my life. He basically was saying, "Oh, that's definitely pass interference," when it was clearly not pass interference when it was against us, or when it was the flag was against us. Anytime he could go against the Panthers, man, he was clearly biased in every aspect. There was very little that he had good to say about the Panthers, and then when the Tampa Bay Bucks were doing something, it was Tiki Barber on the cast there.
All right, so you can catch us on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. till midnight, obviously, at this point.
Yeah.
Professor's Picks on Wednesday, where I meet with my bookies head odds maker Rafael Esparza. Tony is 2-2 on Wednesdays right now, trying to get ahead of the money. And on Thursdays, which I record, actually I'm going to record it live. You can check it out tomorrow night live on YouTube. I'll drop it on the podcast on Thursday or Friday. We're going to be hanging out with some Chargers podcasters to get a little bit more insight on that team. We got a lot of great insight. Thanks to Daniel Popper tonight from The Athletic. CK, streaming along, how can they find your work on the stream set?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com, streaming mainly Call of Duty. We did play a little bit of Among Us, which, by the way, might not be a bad idea for us to do one time as like fans playing with us on maybe a live stream on YouTube, because it is funny as hell. But nonetheless, you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Codizzle Allen, Codizzle_Allen. You can find me there. And if you have any questions, or if you're interested in streaming and you want some advice, I'm open to it. I'm not a big streamer, but I feel like I'm getting the hang of it all.
He's good at it. I've been in it 8 years, and he's already surpassed me in like 8 seconds.
No, I won't say all that. But I do appreciate the love and support, and it's been a roller coaster, man. And we got to stream today with some of the bigger streamers on Facebook, which I was super stoked about. Hopefully this thing continues to grow and build, and we'll see how it goes.
Get us Pat McAfee on this show. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. We'll check you out Wednesday, Thursday, post-game. Don't forget, post-game, 252-228-5098. And don't forget, we love Cam Newton, but we love the Panthers, and you got to keep pounding. We'll see you guys later. It's about damn time to end this. It's almost midnight.
Keep pounding.